Okay, Tim, take it away.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday, and thank you so much for being a part of this table read for Aliens, The Lost Colony. Before we get going, I want to introduce all the actors who are bringing this work to life. First is Rod Thompson, who plays the role of Lydecker, and he's also the co-writer of this script. Rod and I have written 5 feature screenplays together, even though we've only met once in person. Rod's a 21-year veteran of the United States Navy and currently serves honorably on active duty in Norfolk, Virginia. There are my nerves. He's a co-author of The Adventures of Connor the Courageous Cutter, a children's picture book series, which has garnered a truly amazing number of Book Choice Awards. He's just completed the first novel in his All That You Imagine trilogy and is currently seeking representation. Rod attended Regent University Film School with a focus on screenwriting and more than 20 produced and unproduced screenplays. As you can see, Rod also likes to write really long introductions for himself, but because he co-wrote this script, I have to humor him. So there you go, Rod. Playing the lead role of Thora is Kayun Kim. Kayun is an accomplished actress who plays the character of New Media in Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Fernanda Espinola, she plays the role of Nux. She's a producer and the star of all 3 seasons of the television show Bloomers, and she has also dubbed many of your favorite telenovelas. David Keogh plays Cordell and is an award-winning actor and screenwriter from the UK. He's written 12 award-winning screenplays, 5 of which are in various stages of pre-production, and with the help of some miracles, he may actually get one made. He's just been given the lead in a major UK show about the last days of Oscar Wilde, in which he has to sing. And the fact that he can't sing is in no way stopping him. Playing the character of Russ is screenwriter Peter R. Furstvanger. The table read for Peter's romantic dramedy, Seldom Seen, is happening next week. It's an amazing script. I always go on and on about it. And I hope all of you contact Janet at Northern Unicorn and get into his audience for that read. He also plays a character, Joey, later in the story after his Russ character is gone. Faith Dowgan is the voice actor who I first met at Austin Film Festival a million years ago in 2019. She can be heard in the role of Zelda Anders in the comedy fiction podcast Mission Rejected. Today, Faith plays Anne, Newt's mother. Ross Kernahan is a British actor, writer, composer, and theatrical producer who's appeared on stage for numerous UK productions, from Shakespeare to Tennessee Williams, as well as various screen roles. His company, Fight or Flight Productions, are associate artists of the Lion and Unicorn Theatre in London and have produced a multitude of projects, including Sam Steiner's Lemons, 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 which was chosen as a top pick of the Brighton Fringe Festival 2017. He's also writing his first film, Temporary Visitors, has just wrapped playing Captain Robert Fitzroy on the first season of Devolution of Species, a Ben Elton-style radio comedy drama about the voyage of Darwin on the HMS Beagle. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, and all of your usual outlets. Screenwriter and amazing photographer Mark Ruiz, who hails from the San Francisco Bay Area, is with us in the role of Marichek, a tough son of a bitch who happens to have a big crush on Thora. Mike Beckingham is a British actor based in London, but is from the Shires of Gloucestershire. He has films currently out on Amazon Prime, including Redwood, for which he won a Best Actor, Black Site, Glock, with Casper Van Dien, Stephen Moyer, and John Rhys-Davies, and can also currently be seen in the TV show Truth Seekers alongside Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Beloved screenwriter Guy Crawford joins us playing 2 roles, George and a character interestingly named Coward. Guy has maybe a zillion scripts, and if you haven't read any of them, email him, you'll thank me later. Bobby Kirk is also a screenwriter and plays the role of Barry. He also has a table read coming up for his screenplay, The Pirate Princess, on April 25th. You can DM him or Northern Unicorn Films to be in the audience for that one. Playing 4 roles is my new screenwriting pal, Alice, who has recently been in LA for the filming of the short film Curiosity, which is now in post-production. Screenwriter Lou Paletti goes to bat for us playing 3 roles, Sylve, Wilkes, and Man. Lou recently sent me one of his scripts and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Screenwriter Luke Zwanziger also plays 3 roles, Luco, Man Number 2, and the infamous Carter Burke. We expect a lot out of you for this one, Luke. Luke is an award-winning filmmaker, screenwriter, and improv comedian from Portland, Oregon. His recent short script, Crossroads, was a finalist for Film Lab TV and was an official selection for the 6-page script podcast. He recently co-directed a short film, Gwen, that will be debuting online in late April. He also writes about vampire hospitals, midwives, and morticians. So take that with you. Erica McNabb graces our table read by playing the famous Newt, as well as another character, Joshua. I'll always find a role for Erica, and Newt is a perfect fit for her. It isn't a Tim Westland table read if Erica isn't in it. Screenwriter Janet Goodman-Clark plays 3 roles: team lead, colonist, and support crew. Janet was my co-writer on our sci-fi action adventure script Pan and is an amazing and very prolific screenwriter. I'm also happy to introduce screenwriter Laura Sheridan, who plays 3 roles: Mags, Woman, and Astrid. Laura, I really appreciate your enthusiasm for the script and your support here. And then there's me, Tim Westland. In addition to Aliens: The Lost Colony, I've written well over a dozen screenplays, 3 TV pilots, most recently a sci-fi called Tranquility. I'll be your narrator today, which means I don't get killed in this thing like everybody else. I also play 2 tiny roles, a colonist named Earl and Newt's little brother, because his name is Timmy. And last but definitely not least is Janet Swainston of Northern Unicorn Films. Janet is a screenwriter and the producer of this table read and an amazing friend. She works tirelessly to help so many screenwriters get their stuff out into the world. So thank you, Janet. Okay, the credits have rolled, so let's get the show on the road. This is Aliens: The Lost Colony, written by Rod Thompson and Tim Westland, based on characters created by Dan O'Bannon, Ronald Shusett, James Cameron, David Geiler, and Walter Hill. I'm going to find my script now because it just disappeared off my screen. Give me 1 second, sorry about that. Okay. Fade in, exterior, LV-426, day, airborne. A distant sun filters through an angry green atmosphere still in its infancy. Acid rain from a chaotic storm system etches razor-sharp lava spires that reach up from the surface to greet what passes for day but looks like a nightmare. This is a dead planet, no indigenous life. Super, LV-426, planet Acheron. In the distance, a monolithic atmospheric processor juts up from the barren, windswept surface like a rounded pyramid. Surrounding the processor are 6 reactor towers, north, east, south, west, alpha, and bravo, which provide the nearly limitless power needed to terraform this rock. At the base of Bravo, the off-shift crew shambles down an access ramp and into a waiting transport. The transport rises into the air, flies straight through the processor's exhaust plume, and heads for exterior, Hadley's Hope, day. The transport flies in over the colony of Hadley's Hope, a multi-level, multi-building complex connected by tunnels, ducts, and passageways, home to 158 workers and their families. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, landing pad, day. The transport circles the colony once and then lands. Chief Administrator Brad Lydecker, 40s, waits impatiently at the edge of the landing pad, leaning on the handrail, wearing bad news like a mask. The transport's gull-wing doors open, and the off-shift crew crowd out, making sure to give Lydecker a respectful berth. Left on board is Frank Cordell, 50s, a tough-as-nails Brit and former Colonial Marine, now head of Colonial Security, and one other guy in cuffs. Cordell pushes the handcuffed man out the door. The cuffed man stumbles out, eyes downcast in drunken shame. The name on his shirt reads, Rush Jordan. Cordell nods to Lydecker.
Hasn't said a word since they found him asleep in the reactor.
Lydecker gets in close to Rush. Russ sniffs. Lydecker, you might be on mute.
Your last chance was 2 chances ago. You know that, right?
Russ looks up, tears of regret flow.
I just lost track of time over at the shithole, Governor. I swear I looked up and realized it was time for my shift, and
Russ.
I got a family relying on me. If you send me back to Blue Rock...
Your family and 157 other families relying on me to keep them safe. You work blitz, push the wrong button, melt down one of the reactors, and it's over.
Come on now. I'd never put my kids at risk.
Lydecker just stares at Russ as 2 guards approach. He motions with his head and Cordell takes over.
If you go, mate.
The guard drags Russ off towards the colony.
Push a button and blow the reactor.
Drives the message home.
Clearly. It's only the 4th time you've told him.
Yeah, eat shit, Cordell.
They share a laugh, which is interrupted by the crackle of a nearby public address speaker.
Supreme El Presidente Administrative Minister Lydecker, your royal presence is requested in the control room. I repeat, Sultan Lydecker, your presence is requested in the control room.
Oh, and what? I thought that fat fucker was in charge.
Yeah, he wears the hat. I wear the shoes.
Interior MedLab day. Joshua, 6, fidgets in his chair, eyes darting from one scary medical device to the next. His mother, Astrid, 30, sets a calming hand on his shoulder. A pretty woman enters, her platinum hair styled into a matronly bun. Her skin is unblemished, her eyes the clearest blue. Her face is too perfect to be organic. This is Dr. Thora Heller, 30s, the android Mary Poppins and senior medical officer for the colony. In one hand, she carries a small disc, like a poker chip, and affixes it to the boy's shoulder. In the other, a small cylinder that resembles a click pen, only smaller.
Okay, Joshua, this will sting, but only for the tiniest moments.
How long?
Less than a nanosecond, but maybe more than a picosecond. Do you know what a picosecond is, Joshua?
The boy goes to speak and she clicks the cylinder. The disc emits a quick, inaudible pop and the boy flinches.
See? All done.
That didn't hurt at all.
I'm not programmed to lie, Joshua.
What is it? That thing you shot into me.
It's your very own personal data transmitter. We call them PDTs. Every new colonist has one so that we can keep you from getting lost.
I never get lost.
Well, it also lets me remotely scan your body at any time to see if you have a bug or a temperature, or even if you're developing superpowers.
Astrid smiles at them.
You haven't heard about early atmospheric radiation?
She leans in close, whispers.
It's been turning young boys into Superman for years.
Mom, did you hear that? I might get superpowers. And you're not programmed to lie.
Thora smiles at Joshua and shakes her head. Lydecker pokes his head in. Cordell stands nearby.
Hey, Dr. Heller, do you have a second?
Of course. What is it?
Russ Jordan.
Thora looks disappointed already.
Need a full panel. Psych, detox, fit for duty screening. Cordell's men took him to holding, but I can have them bring him here.
No need.
I'll let them know.
The joys of colony life. Just let me finish here and...
Yeah, of course. Hey, welcome to Hadley's Hope.
Thank you.
Lydecker steps out, then pokes his head back in.
Oh, and Dr. Heller, be sure to monitor this kid for superpowers.
Lydecker winks at Joshua, whose mouth drops open with excitement. Interior control, day. Milky sunlight pours in through the windows. Towering storm clouds are silhouettes off in the distance. A hologram of the atmospheric processor and its 6 reactors floats in the center of the room. Status updates appear and disappear in the air around it. Technicians monitor everything as Lydecker and Cordell enter.
You rang?
Al Ward, senior atmospheric engineer, heaves his fat ass up from the main console. 40 pounds overweight, balding on top for that cul-de-sac look.
Took you long enough.
Russ Jordan.
2 words.
That fucking guy should have been afraid of back to Blue Rock a year ago.
Yeah, but when he's sober, he's one of the best fit welders we have.
When he's sober.
Yeah, so what's up, Al?
My pecker if you would just approve my prostitution request.
I already told you, man. Gay colonial prostitutes are hard to come by.
Lydecker and Cordell smack high fives.
Har har, fucker. We just downloaded an encrypted packet from Earth.
Oh, and I thought the Blue Rock natives had forgotten all about us. Audio or text?
Video.
No shit, going all out.
Pirate advisory.
Eyes only.
Al and Cordell look to Lydecker.
Well, la-di-da. Good thing I have 4 sets of eyes then, yeah?
The 2 other men smirk.
Alert Doc and then transfer the packet to my office comp.
Interior. Thora's quarters, bathroom, night. Thora, in plain white t-shirt and panties, steps out of the fresher. She leans in close to the mirror, examines herself as if she were human, or trying to convince herself of it. Teeth, check. Tongue, check. Those clear blue eyes, check. A knock at her door and she exits into her interior, Thora's quarters, living area, night. Thora answers the door. Leaning against the doorframe, confident and full of swagger, is Marichek, 30s, Cordell's second in command. He's ripped, clean cut, and born to kill. But right now, he's a lovesick puppy dog. Thor smiles and quickly tamps it down.
Lieutenant Marichek.
You said you'd call.
Thor's comm unit dings. She looks at the display, which says Batcave, 5 minutes, Al.
I did say that, yes.
She quickly dons a shirt and shorts.
But you didn't.
She looks him up and down, leans in, plants a quick kiss on his cheek, then whispers in his ear.
No, I didn't.
She brushes past Marichek, who puts a hand up to where her lips just were. Interior, Lydecker's office, night. Al lights a smoke as Cordell thumbs the console on Lydecker's desk. A knock.
You wanted to see me?
We have an eyes only from Earth.
Thor looks to all three men, chooses her words carefully.
Eyes only messages are to be viewed by the intended recipient only.
Lydecker smiles and gestures to everyone in the room.
Colonial law and Weyland-Yutani protocols are quite specific on this.
As colonial governor, I'm bending that rule to include my trusted counsel.
I disagree.
And are overruled. Cordell?
Cordell taps a few buttons and a face appears on screen. Smooth skin and moose brown hair accentuates the popped white collar of a douchebag without a shred of humanity. The man on screen is Carter Burke, 30s.
Governor Lydecker, I hope everyone on LV 426 is well. My name is Carter Burke, team lead for the newly formed Xenopharmacology Division at Weyland-Yutani.
The image is crystal clear. Oh, sorry. The image is crystal clear and Thor watches Burke intently.
We recently received an echo transmission from the long-missing ore freighter, the Nostromo. Prior to its disappearance, the Nostromo responded to a distress call from what may be a derelict ship of alien origin, not far from your location.
Oh, great. More fucking aliens floating around the galaxy.
According to the transmission, there may be xenomorphic organisms on the ship, which could be of incalculable medical value to the company.
You know what?
Aliens.
I've included the coordinates for the derelict vessel in this transmission.
Data begins to crawl across the bottom of the screen.
Before sending an Explorer-class starship and a full research team, the company would like to verify there's actually something worth exploring.
Oh, this is horseshit. You know that, right?
Thor shushes him, keeps her eyes glued to Burke's face.
The company would like you to send out a small scouting team, take a few pictures, then report any findings back to us. This is a voluntary mission, of course, but the company is prepared to reinstitute the paid furlough protocol and approve a substantial salary increase for your entire colony should anything of value be found. We'll be standing by for your response. Burke out.
The message ends. Lydecker goes into deep thought mode.
He's hiding something. I'm not sure what, but I've interrogated enough pieces of shit that I know this guy smells.
Why offer a pay raise and a furlough for a scouting mission and some photos? Why not send a drone?
Yeah, exactly. And why did that fucking freighter go missing after touching down there?
Silence as the four of them consider the ramifications.
Colony ever finds out you turned down a free off-world vacation and a raise, this place will go from Hadley's Hope to Lydecker's Lament.
We can't risk the safety of this colony for the greed of others, especially if that greed belongs to those we're charged to protect.
Hold on there, Doc. These families are here because they had nothing on Earth. Call it greed if you want, but to these people, it might mean the start of a real future.
Wardell?
This tosser's definitely hiding something, but, well, I can't believe they put the entire colony at risk for a bug hunt. They got decades and billions of credits invested in this rock.
Yeah, I agree, but why hold the whole truth? You know, why couldn't you attach a copy of the message from the
Nostromo.
Al?
Voting, I say yes. Send a fucking team. Shit, send one person. If we have to, we can quarantine them when they get back.
Well, I'm not voting on this one, Lai. Above my pay grade, but I wouldn't send a team under my command into a situation without knowing the score, so I'll advise and oversee, but it's your call.
Whoa. On paper, I'm the senior man here.
You own the hardware. Lai owns the people. Let's not break protocol now that money's involved, eh?
Lidecker mulls the variables.
What if these organisms are hostile or carry some sort of disease?
Yeah, or a territorial. We're prepared to deal with that.
This is crazy. You just said that you didn't think the company would risk this site for something that's even remotely dangerous. Doc, please tell me you're computing the same logic.
I'm not programmed to think for the governor or the company, but you both make good points.
Lidecker walks over to a pair of windows that overlook the alleyway between buildings. The barren wastes stretch out to the horizon beyond. He looks back to the group.
I want to see it.
Interior control, night. Lidecker, Cordell, Al, and Thora watch as a new hologram slowly materializes in 3D.
Why is it so fucking slow?
I had to bugger the geosat to get it to scan the coordinates. It's a lot of data being stitched together by a 21st century piece of shit comp barely powerful enough to do my taxes.
The image clears. There on the table, in blue pixelized glory, a familiar horseshoe shape, the Prometheus ship.
Jesus, what's the scale?
40.
Whew.
It's massive.
Distance from us?
35 clicks, give or take.
Lidecker points to a bunch of smaller objects around the derelict.
Those aren't natural. I'm not sure what they are, but they're made by something.
They examine the image, mulling it over.
Do we even have the bodies to send? I mean, we're already at minimal manning with just enough standby to make the days a little bit easier.
I think I know someone.
They make eye contact.
You think he's up for it?
Interior mess hall, day. Russ eats quietly with his wife, Anne, 30, and their children, Newt, 12, and Timmy, 7. Cordell and Lidecker approach. Russ lowers his head.
Can I finish my breakfast first?
This isn't about that. It's about something else.
Russ chances up a look at Lidecker. Interior conference room, day. The sat image of the derelict ship displays on a big screen. Russ and Anne sit across from Lidecker and Cordell.
We'll keep this quick. There's a site that needs to be surveyed for the company. Figured since you can't go back into the reactor, we'd offer the job to you.
Slight confusion in Russ's eyes.
I'm not a surveyor. You need to talk to Megan Wickman or Jason Deere. They're the best.
It's not that kind of survey.
And what kind of survey is it?
Lidecker and Cordell glance at Anne as if they'd forgotten that she was even there, then share a look. Lidecker commits.
There's an alien ship, abandoned, about 40 clicks west of here. The company needs us to go out, take some pictures, check for signs of life.
Life? I thought it was abandoned.
It's complicated. All right, so we'll give you the full rundown if you take the job.
Russ hesitates. Anne's face echoes his apprehension.
This is your final second chance, Russ. It's your ticket to stay on board. You might even work yourself back into the reactor.
And if he doesn't go?
Then Cordell will be forced under colonial law to put the entire Jordan family on a ship back to Earth, forfeiting this year's wages to pay the ferryman for the ride.
Anne's eyes narrow with contempt. Lidecker feels that heat.
Your husband is drowning. I'm throwing him a rope.
Why don't you send Cordell and his men? They're the trained security types.
Russ places a hand on hers.
Baby, calm down.
No, she has a fair point. 2 reasons. First, my job is colonial security, plain and simple. Pirate activity is increasing in all sectors, and I won't risk this colony's only protection.
He pauses for effect, knowing the next question.
And second?
Cordell turns to Russ, serious as a heart attack.
You're expendable and have nothing to lose.
Anne fumes, but Russ knows when he's beat.
How will I get there?
Wildcat.
Can I think about it?
Lidecker looks to them both, one at a time.
I'll give you an hour. Come find me when you're done talking it up.
Interior med lab, night. Thora sits at a console with a cord from her wrist plugged into a computer. Her pupils are digitized in shift forms. She's downloading something that taxes her processors. Suddenly, with the chirp, a message appears on her monitor. Her eyes return to normal. She unplugs from the console and taps the monitor. It prompts for a security code. Thora frowns, puzzled.
7-3 Bravo's at 11.
A new prompt appears for secondary code. This concerns her.
Zephyr.
On screen, Carter Burke appears. Interior, Jordan quarters night. Cramped living for a family of 4. Their quarters are more like a large utility closet than a home. Russ and Ann sit at a nook table while Timmy and Newt play a hologram game in the background.
They had to know it was there when they started the colony, Russ. We are too close for it to be a coincidence.
Come with me, you and the kids. Newt loves riding in the Wildcats. We'll make a day of it. Get away from it all like a vacation or something.
He leans in, steals a kiss. She pushes him away.
You can't charm me into this.
I'm a fuck up, Ann. I know it, you know it, and they know it, but they're giving me an opportunity to save the kids from working in the mines on Earth or crewing some dead-end transit freighter for the rest of their lives. Come with me. Bring Newt and Tim.
He kisses her and a tear falls across her cheek.
At least with the kids along, you won't do anything stupid.
Exterior, Hadley's Hope, garage bay, day. The sun doesn't shine. Lightning flashes across a blackout wall of clouds that extends into the upper atmosphere. 5 large doors open wide. Mechanics pull vehicles in from the coming storm. Thora, Russ, and Marichek stand next to the rugged 6-wheeled Wildcat. Marichek stows a heavy crate in the cat's storage bay. Lydecker exits the garage, points to the clouds.
You want to call it? This is a big one. We're looking at a few days of blackout conditions.
Russ's shame has been replaced with indignation.
Nah, we're good.
Thora casts a wary look at Lydecker and lowers her eyes.
Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me.
She heads for the garage. Marichek waits for a second and follows.
Why was she here?
Medical supplies?
Russ battens down the storage bay and waits for Lydecker to say something. Anything.
Let's hurry it up, Timmy. Come on.
From inside the garage, Ann and their kids appear. Lydecker watches as they get into the Wildcat. He throws Russ an "Are you fucking kidding me" look.
This isn't a picnic, Russ.
Need ants for a picnic. The way you described it, there ain't none, right?
Guilt shades Lydecker.
Look, if things look squirrely, don't hang around, all right?
Yesterday, you wanted me to ship back to Blue Rock, but today you care. Funny how company profits fuel your kindness.
Lydecker and Russ share an eye lock.
Safe travels.
Russ nods and climbs into the cat. With an electric hum, the cat pulls away and heads off into the barrens. Lydecker watches, then turns towards the storm, still hours away. He traces the edge of the cloud with his hand as they contrast against the glowing green sky. Thora approaches.
Planet building used to be reserved for gods. Here we are.
As an android, I'm not programmed to possess faith. Yet, as illogical as belief in an all-powerful being seems, I don't consider humanity foolish for it.
Yeah, we puny humans feel safer thinking that higher power has our back. It's foolish, right?
Actually, I was just going to say that based on every equation and discovery in human history, neither science nor mathematics proves or disapproves the existence of God. Foolish would be to rule out of the possibility of a God.
Are you saying that you would believe in God?
No, I'm saying that if God is lurking in the deep crevices of science and mathematics, man has clearly usurped him.
She smiles and motions to the storm, but Lydecker remains pensive.
Careful how loud you say that, Doc.
Why?
Well, every time man infringes on the works of God, God tends to show up and remind us how low we rank on his totem pole.
Thunder rolls and rumbles from the clouds in the distance as the Wildcat reaches the peak of a nearby rise and disappears over the other side. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, processor, night. Dark clouds, vicious winds, arcs of lightning. LV-426 suddenly looks more like the planet that Ripley and the Colonial Marines will be landing on in a few weeks. Interior, East Reactor, office, night. A chubby man, George, 50s, monitors a holographic gauge. Something catches his eye. He calls out over the radio.
Control, this is East.
Interior, control, night. Cammy Nux, 20s, answers. A pretty girl with short brown hair and a white t-shirt so thin it might as well be clear. Maybe gay, who cares?
UFO control.
You see in flux in coil 7?
Nux punches in some numbers. Her display has changed.
That's a negative.
Is Al around?
Nope. when to eat.
She lights a cigarette and kicks her boots up.
I'll have him give you a ring when he gets back.
Interior mess hall dinner. The off-shift crew and their families fill the hall. Al sits at a table alone. He scowls. Thora comes in and sits in front of him.
You wanted to see me?
He stares at her, anger clearly brewing.
Your blood pressure is 181/94. Judging from your facial expressions and the color of your cheeks, you're mad.
What did Burke ask you to do that he couldn't say in front of me?
Beg pardon?
Transmissions don't enter or leave this station without me knowing about it. Last night, after Lydecker received that packet from Earth, you received one so highly encrypted that I thought it was microwave static.
I can't talk about it, but I assure you that it's
Don't dance around this, Thora. You know just as well as I do that a single line of code is all that defines whether you're a good doctor or a homicidal enforcer bot.
But within my code,
is the ability to choose between right and wrong. It's what makes you more human. But I got a gut fucking feeling that whatever you're keeping from us is the wrong choice, and you know it.
Al, my primary programming is for the physical, mental, and medical well-being of every colonist on this planet. It cannot be changed nor altered to serve anyone, even the company.
Then what was the message?
It doesn't matter.
It matters to me.
It doesn't matter because I took protective measures.
What does that mean?
The lights flicker, then brown out, then black. An electric whoom fades away.
What the hell?
Exterior processor night. The blue lightning that filters through the vents around East Reactor goes dark. Interior Wildcat night. The cat bumps and rolls within the scarred terrain.
What do you think we'll find?
A bunch of wreckage and...
The view outside cuts off his words and follows his gaze.
Mother of God.
Exterior Wildcat night. Lightning flashes outlining the massive bulk of the derelict ship as it looms above them. A gigantic alien grave marker resting at an angle. Interior control night. Power comes back online and people move about, checking the status of the reactors, Al among them. Lydecker enters.
Everything good?
Everything looks good.
Al and Lydecker make their way over to Nux station. She points to a long scrolling list of readings.
Right there. This is literally the second East reactor called about the flux. The reactor took a 0.01 decrease in power.
For how long?
A second tops, not even. The power outage was probably just an echo of that, a ripple.
In fact, can we find the cause?
Nick shrugs.
Okay, keep me posted. You got a minute?
For what?
Al motions for Lydecker to follow. Interior Hadley's Hope Recreation Room night. Weights and exercise equipment line a mat padded floor. Cordell does plyometric exercises in the middle of the mat, like slow breakdancing. Eyes closed, breathes deep. Marichek enters.
Hey, Colonel.
Cordell exhales and opens his eyes.
What's the good word, Marichek?
Price says there's an issue in one of the armories.
Interior Armory night. Cordell, still sweaty, enters the armory. Weapons of various calibers and capabilities hang on the wall. Pricer, 20s, sits on a stool next to an empty cabinet.
Speak.
I came in for an evening temp check. Somebody cleaned out the fucking cavers.
Exterior, derelict, ship, night. Russ and Ann guide their motorized Pelican crate on wheels away from the derelict ship. Their job is done.
I don't see what all the fuss was about. 2 spatters in the bag.
Ann looks up at the ship.
Where do you think it came from?
She snaps a picture of it.
Who cares? The company wants samples. We're going to pay for them. They're going to pay for them. This here is our bargaining chip, baby.
What if the company won't agree to this handler's fee you think we'll get? You going to hold them hostage out here in the Barrens? We can't live away from the colony for long.
If they don't play ball, we throw these 2 fuckers back in there and burn the house down.
He slaps the Pelican crate.
Should we get more?
Newt pops her head out of the cat, looking up at the ship as Russ loads the crate into the cargo hold.
Well, we need to go back and set the charges anyway.
Russ grabs a few empty bags, stuffs them in Ann's backpack. The kids appear in the open door of the cat.
Mom, can we go in this time?
No, sweetie.
What is that thing?
Your future, boy. We'll be back in 20.
Russ closes and locks the door. Then he and Anne head off towards the ship. Inside the cat.
Looks like a junker to me.
Interior med lab night. Lydecker, Al, and Marichek enter. Thora sits at her terminal, turns to them.
Did you receive a trans from Earth?
You already know that I did.
Thora offers
Don't
nothing more.
test me, Thora.
Burke wants samples.
Son of a bitch. And did you relay any of that to Russ?
Yes, and I equipped him to do it.
Jesus H.
Calm yourself, I can explain.
You goddamn right you will. I'm about 2 fucking seconds from ordering Alan Marichek to take you apart with a rusty can opener.
Marichek's lips compress into a thin line.
Burke activated a hardwired command control I didn't know I had. It overrides my prime detective and has an intense pain component.
Thora's eyes dart to Marichek for the briefest of moments.
He could have ordered me to blow this place up and I would have done it.
Lydecker chews on that, then visibly softens.
All right, go on.
He ordered me to provide Russ with high tensile, non-corrosive sampling bags for the collection of alien specimens.
What kind of specimens are we talking about?
An arachnid analog that hibernates inside of an egg-like cocoon. Very harmless if precaution is taken.
How big?
Thora holds her hands out about 2 feet apart. Lydecker's eyes widen. Out of the frying pan.
Get Cordell over here, now.
Al pulls out his personal comm unit and texts a message.
What else?
Burke is smooth, but smooth and smart don't always go hand in hand.
What's that mean?
We knew he was holding back, so after my painful interaction with him, I dug into the backside of the company's net. Center Carter Burke is senior chair of the Special Weaponry Division at Weyland-Yutani, not even officially listed in the company's roster.
Lydecker makes a sour face. Thora brings up a new display.
I also looked into the Nostromo. All I could find was a declassified crew manifest and a 60-year-old insurance claim for vessel and cargo. No logs of it ever landing on LV-426. No records of anything.
A lost ore freighter worth billions, and you found nothing but a manifest and an insurance claim?
A nod from Thora.
Someone is working very hard to hide something. So I began searching the clutter webs. 2 months ago, a deep space salvage crew happened upon an escape pod. Would you like to guess what ship that escape pod came from?
The Nostromo?
Thora nods.
So the Nostromo was here, and then sometime after that, it disappeared for reasons unknown.
Leaving 1 survivor.
They let that sink in.
Why do I feel like I just sent the Jordan family on a suicide mission?
Cordell enters.
We have a situation.
No shit. Someone broke into the armory and cleaned out the high-yield seismic charges.
That gets a surprised look from both Lydecker and Al, but not Thora.
Capers.
While Burke was able to exploit my programming, he left my primary AI directives intact. Protect the health and well-being of every human in this colony, remember? So I stole your charges and gave them to Russ Jordan so he could destroy the derelict spacecraft. We won't be going back out there in company doors again.
She smiles a bitch's smile.
It was the only way to be sure.
Lydecker allows a matching smile to cross his face. That's when the power goes out and the room goes dark. Somewhere in the exterior distance, an explosion echoes. Interior, control, night. The power drops, displays flicker, and the windows rattle as a massive fireball erupts from East Reactor. Red emergency lights and screeching alarms come to life.
Jesus, auxiliary, now!
Boom! Power returns and the holo displays came back up. Bad news. Wild energy spikes, rising radiation levels, fire. East Reactor is dying.
Divert power from East to Alpha and Bravo and bring coolant to full power plus 5, no, 10. Full power plus 10.
Al, Lydecker, Thora, and Cordell enter. They all see East Reactor's death throes through the window.
Fucking hell.
What do we know?
Nux throws up a wait finger as she grabs the PA mic.
This is not a drill. All damage control leads and fire parties assemble for departure immediately. I repeat, all damage control leads and fire parties assemble for departure immediately.
Fire and lightning erupt from East Reactor's exhaust vents.
East Reactor showing visible fire and expulsion gas lightning following what appears to be an explosion of coil number 7. There are no signs of meltdown at this time. All teams will assume pyroradiological posture. Power has been cut from East Reactor. The fire is Pry 1.
Thora?
Assemble the medical team in med lab. There's bound to be casualties.
Medical response teams assemble in med lab with Dr. Heller.
Thor leaves. Cordell approaches Lydecker as Pal heads over to converse with the control team on watch.
I'll have my men assembled and armed. Could be a pirate raid diversion.
Go. I'm heading down to the watchtower to coordinate from the base of the reactor.
Al waves without looking. Interior, derelict ship, night. A hand places a black box on the deck. Green lights blink from the corners. A seismic charge. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness.
How far in do you think we are?
No clue. This place is monstrous.
Anne makes a face.
I just don't want to leave the kids out there too long.
Almost done. I only have 2 charges left in the pack. We'll plant these, grab a few more spiders, and call it.
Russ reaches up to plant the charge in a small alcove in the wall when the sound of movement somewhere up in the dark.
Wait. What? What's that? Up there.
What? What are you doing?
I'll be right back.
Ross jumps up, grabs hold of a ledge, and pulls himself up onto the space jockey platform.
Holy shit.
What is it?
I don't know.
Russ scans the area with his light. It's the same space jockey, but with the room has changed since the first time Dallas, Lambert, and Kane walked through almost 60 years ago. The floor and walls surrounding the giant pilot chair are covered with excreted alien resin, making the room look like the inside of some monstrous gutted rib cage. The space jockey himself is covered in the stuff. This isn't just a derelict ship. It's one big hive.
Come back down here.
Yeah, okay.
He snaps a picture. In the flash, amid the woven wall of resin, an enormous familiar form appears. The shadowy shape begins to descend from the wall as Russ turns to leave. He hears the crackling of the movement on the wall behind him and turns the light to see the Queen. Her movements are slow, fluid, and graceful, deliberate.
Fuck me!
Russ runs, leaps over the edge, lands hard, and grabs Anne all in one smooth movement.
Run!
She bolts. Russ stops long enough to grab a seismic charge. He activates it and throws it at the Queen as she moves down from the space jockey level and onto the passageway. The seismic charge bounces off her massive black crest. It explodes, illuminating more xenomorphs in the hallway behind her. Exterior, East Reactor, DC shed, night. Boom! More fire, more lightning. An aerial transport drops in low and disgorges a crowd of men and women in damage control gear. Everyone runs towards the massive damage control shed. Lydecker is the last one out. He looks up at the processor.
Easy, girl, easy.
He heads off to the tower near the shed. At the damage control shed, gigantic doors part, revealing 15 puddle jumpers. Built to fight fires, jumpers resemble flying motorcycles with a quadcopter base and 6 ultra-bright lights for maximum coverage, fore, aft, and below. People in fire gear mount the jumpers. Others go to support stations. 2 jumpers lift off and fly up into the rooftops, exposing the crescent layout of the damage control shed, which borders the reactor base. Across the rooftop, 14 large fire hose reels. The first 2 jumpers land on the roof. Support crew drag the hoses to the jumpers, connecting them expertly. More jumpers land and the process is repeated, 14 jumpers in all.
Hot test.
The jumper pilot presses a button and aqueous film-forming foam blows from the funnel on the front of the jumper. One by one, the jumpers test their flow. A 15th jumper, bright yellow with spinning yellow caution lights, hovers above. The team lead. He calls out over the radio.
All jumpers start. Team 1 and 2. Let's move. Relief teams maintain hover. Method of attack will be Conplane Falcon, coil 7.
The jumper lifts off in sequence toward the opening in the bottom of the reactor. Inside, embers fall like burning rain. Interior, tower, night. Lydecker watches and radios over to control.
First team's away.
Interior, control, night. Nux calls out the update for the team.
First team's away.
Copy. Watch the stability. And remember to cool and blast every 20 seconds starting right now. Let's keep our people from cooking.
Interior, derelict ship, night. Russ and Ann haul ass through the resin-coated walls of the ship's passageways. They stop at an opening.
Damn it, Russ. We didn't come in this way.
We have to keep moving. Those things are still behind us.
They step through the opening and into a large room. Night. Their flashlight beams crawl up the walls and disappear into the mist that clings to the ceiling 50 feet above. It's like a moist ballroom for the damned. Anne steps into slime as they progress through the room.
Gross.
Keep moving.
Anne scans to her right.
Look!
She points to a huge hole ripped through the bulkhead of the ship about 30 feet away. A way out.
Fuck this ship. Let's move.
He quickens his pace when something else catches Anne's eye.
Wait.
What?
She shines her light and he sees it. An egg. Suddenly there's a sound, like 1,000 slimy exhales echoing in a wave around the room. Russ scans with his flashlight. Then they see it. They're at the edge of a field of eggs, opening one by one.
Baby? Baby, quick, hand me the last charge.
What are you going to do?
She sets her pack down, removes the charge, and hands it to Russ.
Distract the fuckers.
Chittering sounds everywhere. A facehugger crawls around in the darkness. But where? Anne stands quickly, leaving her pack on the ground, scanning the room.
Don't move.
Hiss! The sound of the queen echoes in from the hallway. Ross tosses the charge across the room away from the hole in bulkhead. It works. The facehuggers lunge in the direction of the sound.
Run!
Anne snatches her pack, runs to the opening, and lowers herself to a hang before dropping. Russ jumps and rolls, landing. Exterior derelict ship. Night. Russ catches up to Anne and they run back toward the lights of the Wildcat. Russ looks back in fear, but the coast appears clear.
Honey, we're good.
She slows to a stop.
I want to get back to the kids.
Hold on. Give me the detonator.
Russ opens the pack and schwap! A facehugger flies out and face fucks Russ. Anne screams. Interior, East Reactor, night. The team lead hovers in close to one of the jumpers.
Guys, good?
A flash of coolant hits superheated metal and hisses wildly.
Good to go.
The hissing is drowned out by a strange noise from inside the reactor.
What the hell was that?
Interior, tower, night. Lydecker monitors 20 things at once. His support crew works like a well-oiled machine. From the speakers.
Overwatch, team lead.
This is Lydecker, go ahead.
Just then, the tower begins to vibrate.
You guys feel that?
Lydecker looks out at the reactor tower with the multiple jumper teams hovering around it.
We're hearing something inside the reactor, like an intermittent hum.
Copy. We're feeling vibrations here in the watchtower. Break, control, Overwatch.
Intercut with interior control night. Nux picks up the comm.
Control.
Copy my last.
Go ahead.
Roger. Running diagnostics now.
She pulls up different displays, lands on one that scares the shit out of her.
Get them out of there. Purge the reactor.
Interior, East Reactor, night. The fire goes out on its own.
What in the...
The humming grows louder, now a bone-vibrating thrum. Then the shit hits the fan. Pipe after pipe above the jumpers rupture and out spews hot steam. The entire tower shakes and sways.
Go!
Too late. Exterior, East Reactor, night. Chaos. Superheated steam bursts from the skin of the reactor like blood from dying veins. Shock waves blast out in all directions. The jumpers are sent reeling. Nobody stands a chance. Hoses catch, tangle, and snap. High-speed collisions send riders plummeting to their deaths. One jumper snaps from its hose, spins through the air and careens towards a building which bristles with antennae. Exterior, the communication relay, night. The jumper hits, the explosion quick and tremendous. The structure is destroyed instantly. The pilot's body smashes into the tower. Interior, tower, night. Lydecker watches as the body slams into the tower.
Jesus Christ. Control, shut down East Reactor now.
Interior, control, night. Al and Nux watch the carnage unfold.
Do it.
Concern on Nux's face, but she does as told. Interior, med lab, night. Doc stares at the door at the end of the hall, waiting for it to open and a flood of injured to arrive. The door stares back. Behind her, 3 other staff prep med lab. Hiss! The door opens, and the colonists carry in some of the injured.
How many?
One man, Barry, speaks for everyone.
20, maybe 30 if any jumper pilots survived. East just plumed. There's bodies everywhere.
Where are the on-scene med teams?
Barry shakes his head.
There's just us.
Thora considers her options.
Okay, keep them coming then. Injured, dead, I don't care. You keep bringing them.
Sure thing, Doc.
Interior, Wildcat night. Ann Balls, driving through tear-blurred vision. Newt and Timmy scream and cry over the prone body of Russ. Ahead, the processor looms like a wounded mountain. Exterior, East Reactor night. Mass casualties. Bodies of the dead and injured lie everywhere. The Wildcat approaches over the rise and stops short of the chaos. Anne jumps out, opens the hatch, and drags Russ out. Then she sees Lydecker in the distance, now out of the tower, coordinating team movements from the ground. Interior, Wildcat night. Newt and Timmy, still bawling, watch from inside the cat as Anne runs through the carnage towards Lydecker. Exterior, East Reactor night. Anne screams to get Lydecker's attention.
Governor!
But she's too far away and the chaos is just too loud. Back at the cat, the aerial transport lands nearby. Barry and another worker, Sylv, 30s, exit. Barry sees Russ laid out through the cat's door.
Hey, Sylv, over there.
They run up to help Russ, another victim in their eyes. Then they see his face.
The fuck's on his face?
Shit, I don't know, but Doc said to bring everybody.
Was that thing in the reactor?
Grab his legs.
The two men carry Russ to the transport. Back with Lydecker, Anne races up, out of breath and shattered by fear and panic.
Anne?
She tries, but words won't come.
What is it, Anne? Is it the kids? Are your kids?
She shakes her head.
Russ?
She loses as she points towards the cat. Lydecker bolts towards the Wildcat, passes flaming debris, smoke, and bodies. Newt and Timmy freak out, scared shitless.
Where is he?
Who?
Your dad.
Newt just stares at him. Anne catches up, looks around in confusion.
He was right there!
Newt points to Sylv and Barry as they load Russ into the aerial transport. Lydecker sees the facehugger.
The hell is on his face?
Lydecker runs towards the aerial transport, waving his arms. Pointless. The aerial transport takes off and heads back to the colony. Lydecker grabs Anne by the shoulders.
Anne, what happened on the ship?
She puts her hand over her mouth, mumbling. Lydecker races towards the tower. Interior, tower, stairwell. Lydecker races up the stairs, level by level. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, South Lock. The aerial transport circles in for a landing. Interior, tower, night. Lydecker grabs the radio.
Control, Lydecker, do not open South Lock. I repeat.
Interior, control, night. Lydecker's voice is completely drowned out by the chaos as Nux, Al, and the control crew shut down East Reactor. Interior, tower, night. Lydecker throws down the radio and runs. Exterior, Hadley, Hope, South Lock, night. The transport lands, doors open. Exterior, East Reactor, night. Lydecker runs past Anne, Newt, and Timmy. He leaps into a utility truck with an extendable claw, powers up, and he's gone. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, South Lock, night. Barry and Sylv carry Russ on a gurney toward the door. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. Lydecker hauls ass over the train, speeds around and over the rocks towards South Lock. Interior, Medlab, night. Thor attends to a burn victim while more injured litter the room, a tragic chorus of moans and pleas.
Doc, you need to see this.
She turns and sees the facehugger on Russ.
Concilium caput.
What?
Thor's code words cause the only entrance door to the med lab to slide shut with a hiss and lock, hermetically sealing everyone in.
Quarantine initiated.
Hell?
Help me get him in here.
Lydecker appears on the other side of the door. He struggles to open it. No dice. Thora, Barry, and Sylv move Russ to the isolation room at the back of the med lab and lay him on the cot. The trio walk out of the room and Thora seals the door to that room as well. Barry approaches the main door to leave.
Doc?
Mandatory quarantine. We have to remain isolated for at least 6 hours, maybe more if anyone begins to experience symptoms.
Symptoms? Of what?
That thing on his face is biological. There's no way to tell what it could be carrying.
Lydecker taps on the glass. She approaches, taps the comm.
Quarantine, 6 hours.
What about the wounded at the reactor?
Take them to the mess hall and establish a triage. Everyone is trained in basic first aid. Bring all serious injuries to this hallway and I will instruct the colonists on more advanced techniques through the glass or via medbot.
Lidecker looks past Thora to Russ, safe behind the 2-inch thick unbreakable Duraplast wall. Thora, too, glances at Russ.
What is it?
She looks back to Lidecker.
I think your god is reminding us of our place on the totem pole.
Exterior derelict ship, night. Something moves amid the dust-blown shadows. Xenos mount rocks, hissing in communication. The queen remains hidden, but she's there. 4 tread marks cut into the ground, leading away from the ship. Hiss! The queen and the contingent force of Xenos follow the tracks towards the colony. Interior mess hall triage, morning. A large 8-legged medical spider bot, or medbot, skitters among the injured colonists. Legs 2 feet long, jointed at the midpoints, and a body the size of an iPad. Thora's concerned face displays via 3D hologram, which projects from the robot's back. She directs volunteers to bandage burn victims and dole out meds. White sheets are draped over a length of rope that spans the width of the room, a makeshift divider between the living and those close to death. Newt peeks from behind the sheets, watches as the spider bot tends to the wounded. As it moves back towards the face of one patient, she gasps and steps back, the memory of the facehugger on her father's face too new and vivid to ignore. The bot stops. The Thora hologram turns towards Newt.
Don't be afraid, Rebecca. It's me, Dr. Heller.
Hey, stay back.
The bot backs up. Moments later, Marichek approaches Newt.
Rebecca, Dr. Heller would like to see you at MedLab.
Interior MedLab entrance day. Newt approaches a transparent Duraplast door to MedLab. Marichek stands at the distance. On the other side, Thora sits on the floor, cross-legged.
Is this better, love?
Newt nods.
I'm sorry if I scared you, but it's the only way I can help people right now.
Why won't you come up? Why won't you open the...
Thora struggles to decide. Tells Newt to lie. Thora struggles to decide. Tell Newt a lie or the truth, but Newt already knows.
It's my dad, isn't it?
Thora glances at Marichek, then back at Newt and nods.
Can I see him?
Not quite yet.
Is that thing going to kill him?
Thora places her palm on the door.
You have a funny nickname, don't you?
Newt wants an answer, but plays along.
Newt.
Newt? What a horrible nickname for such a pretty little girl.
Newt places her hand up to Thora's.
Is my dad going to die?
Thora's brow furrows.
I don't know.
Interior hallway, morning. Cordell walks at a rapid get out of my fucking way pace. Interior, Lidecker's office, morning. Lidecker sips hot tea. His hands are unsteady as he sets the cup down next to an untouched donut. Knock, knock.
Come.
Cordell enters, uncharacteristically humorless.
I just finished debriefing and Jordan.
How's she holding up?
Doc's plan didn't go as planned.
What do you mean?
Russ never detonated the charges and says there could be thousands of those spider things on board, along with something else.
What kind of something else?
Well, she never saw him, but Russ did, and he was scared shitless.
Lidecker tries to read Cordell's expression.
I don't care what company protocol says. I'm not authorizing another trip out to that ship.
My men and I are trained.
Do I give a shit?
Not the reception Cordell expected.
That thing on Jordan's face.
Stayed where it was for the last 20 years because nobody fucked with it. I'm not sending another team. It's not happening.
Oh, look, if the shoe says no, guess I've got to ask the hat.
Lidecker falls back into his chair, glares up at Cordell.
You bored playing sheriff in a one-horse town, jonesing for a bug hunt? Shoot some of those long-holstered guns, little bang bang?
Oh, that's bollocks, Brad. My job is to assess threats and neutralize them, and whatever the hell is on that ship represents a clear and present danger to this colony. We have no idea what that thing is doing to Russ right now.
So you think Russ being turned into some sort of an alien spy and we should get rid of him before he gets us?
Don't patronize me.
And I'm not. Every decision I make is for the best of this colony.
You okay? Jordan's trip.
Below the belt, but effective and
You talk to Al. Fine. You talk to Al. I'm sure he'll be happy to entertain your Space Invader bullshit while he's busy keeping the processor from vaporizing the fucking lot of us.
I can always message Blue Rock.
You think the company will authorize you to blow up their new $1 zillion bioweapon?
A laugh from Lydecker.
Doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. Jumper hit the comm shack during the fire. We're not talking to anyone but ourselves for a while. So by all means, if you want to go beg out, be my guest.
He grabs his donut and takes a bite.
Oh, wait.
A beep from his monitor grabs his attention.
The mandatory 6-hour quarantine.
Interior medlab day. The volunteers sleep on anything providing comfort as Thora stares at Russ.
As concluded, if contagion vectors still remain, please say no or remain silent and the quarantine will be extended by 6 hours. Would you like to cancel the quarantine at this time, Dr. Thora Heller?
Yes, with exception to the isolation room.
With a loud hiss, the main exit door opens. The door to Russ's room remains closed. The noise wakes Barry.
We good to go, Doc?
Yes, but if you start feeling...
Barry looks beyond her into Russ's compartment.
What's up with Russ?
She turns around to see the facehugger falling off. They both approach the glass as the hugger crawls over to the corner and dies.
He alive?
Yes.
Her eyes digitize again.
Blood pressure, temperature, all stats are within acceptable.
Cordell, Lydecker, and Marichek enter as her eyes return to normal.
Christ in heaven. It's fallen off.
Lydecker grabs Barry, his tone serious.
Hey, keep this under your hat, eh, Barry? Last thing we need right now is a panic.
Barry looks around, shrugs.
I'm going straight to bed, Gov.
Barry walks out with Sylv, both men sleepy.
Something's not right.
She picks up her tablet, launches an app. Inside the room with Russ, a small armature descends from the ceiling, controlled by Thora. She positions it over Russ, and a laser scans his body. An image forms on the tablet.
What in the fuck?
On the screen, a chest burster curls up in Russ's ribcage.
What is that, Thora?
A parasite.
Are parasites normally that big?
Thora stares at the screen with intense fascination. Cordell watches Thora, sizes up her reaction.
Thora?
She's mesmerized by the image in the screen.
Doctor!
Thora turns to him. Her expression is blank, disconnected.
Can it be removed or should I...
Thora turns back to the screen as if Cordell wasn't even there. Marichek steps up, places a hand on Thora's shoulder.
Thora?
She turns to Marichek, then Cordell. Her expression turns grave.
I know you'd consider killing this man to protect the colony. I won't allow that, but we can't keep him here without an acceptable risk.
She turns to Lydecker.
We should move him to one of the evac stations in orbit. The parasite is growing at an astonishing rate.
Do we even have time for that? What if it outgrows?
Her gaze remains on the tablet. On screen, the alien moves.
The window of opportunity is minimal, but it's the safest option for the colony.
What happens if it grows too big for his chest?
She looks to him.
Prep the evacuation shuttle, Governor.
Lydecker sighs, turns, and leaves.
Did the Jordans return with other samples?
Get that cat. We'll go and get...
But not destroy them. If I'm to fully understand what's inside of him, I need those samples.
Interior hallway day. School must be out because a half dozen kids run up and down the halls, shouting and playing. A boy, 6, on a big wheel, rides past. His father, Earl, 40s, chases after him before seeing Lydecker. Hey, Gov, what's this I'm hearing about Russ Jordan having some sort of virus? Lydecker sighs, a frustrated fucking Barry sigh.
It's nothing to worry about. Russ will be back to the shithole buying beers for buying everyone drinks and blowing off shifts before you know it.
Look, I did my time in the fleet, so I get the whole secrecy thing, but if my family's in danger...
Earl, do you know why I don't have a wife or kids like everyone else?
Earl shakes his head.
Because you people are my family, the colony. So you can be damn sure that I'll always do what's right for all of you. Understood?
Earl nods. Near their feet, children's laughter echoes out of the ventilation grate in the wall. Oh man, my kid's in the air ducts again. They think this is a damn adventure park down there. Bobby! Interior control day. Rain patters against large windows, turning the view of the atmospheric processors into a Salvador Dali painting. Al sleeps in his high-back control chair, out like a light as Lydecker taps him.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to prep the shuttle for evac.
Al closes his eyes, waves Lidecker off.
No, we're good. Bypass the coil and
dumbass. We need to get Russ Jordan as far away from this rock as possible. Now.
Al's eyes open. Exterior processor day. Cordell and Marichek pull up on ATVs, approach the cat, then open the cargo hold in the rear. Pay dirt, the motorized cart and crate. He opens it, 2 large plastic canisters, in each a high tensile bag with a wriggling facehugger inside. Cordell puts his hand on his gun and stares, fighting the urge to do what he wants to do.
Sir?
Cordell keeps his pistol holstered, closes the crate, and carries it over to his ATV. Interior medlab day. Thora sits at a monitor, types at inhuman speed. Something causes a question to form on her face. She turns just as tap, tap, tap. Russ is awake, leaning on the unbreakable glass. He looks like he's just been face fucked by a crab. His hand massages his throat.
Hey, Doc, my throat's on fire. You got any water?
Thora taps her comm.
Mr. Cordell, Russ is awake.
Thora goes over to the glass, places her hand up to his.
You've had a rough day.
Yeah? What happened? Why am I medical?
There was an incident.
Begin Russ's nightmarish flashback. Inside the ship, bagging eggs, planting charges, the space jockey, looking into the bag as the facehugger attacks. End flashback. Russ touches his face, imagining an alien creature there.
Russ, you need to lay back down.
What the fuck happened to me?
He glances over, sees the dead facehugger in the corner, and backs away from it, panicked.
Oh shit. Let me out! Let me out!
Russ, it's dead. Go over to the cot and lay down. You need to remain calm and still.
Still? Why do I gotta be still?
Then it occurs to him. His hand goes to his chest.
Did that thing put something inside of me? Did it?
Calm down, Russ, and listen to me.
Russ goes into full panic mode.
Get it out. You gotta get it out. Come on, Doc. I got kids, for Christ's sake.
His eyes go wide like he's been punched hard in the gut. He stumbles back, both hands move to his chest.
Doc, something? I feel it moving.
Thora grabs her comm.
Governor Lidecker, your presence is urgently needed in MedLab.
Russ begins to hyperventilate.
Knock it out. Knock me out. Cut this fucking thing out of me.
Russ, I need you to listen to me.
Russ is beyond hearing, his screams echo in the room. Interior, hallway day. Lidecker and Al approach the heavy door that separates D Block from the rest of the colony, sealed and coded. Lidecker punches in a code. The door opens. They hear Russ's screaming and pick up their pace. Just as they get to medbay, Cordell and Marichek arrive through the south lock with the crates.
Something's happening to Russ.
They break into a run. Interior medlab day. Lidecker, Al, Cordell, and Marichek enter.
What's happening?
Russ crawls across the floor. He retches, but nothing comes. Marichek looks at Thora. She shakes her head. Russ screams in fear and pain, but no one moves to help him.
We can't just let him suffer. Can you gas him or something?
Russ gets to his feet, manages to shamble over to the glass. He's face to face with Cordell. His eyes plead. Then, splat! A bloody rose appears on Russ's chest, which heaves outward as the creature inside works hard to be born. On the verge of tears, Thora mouths the words.
Sorry.
Russ's ribs break and flesh tears. Blood, organs, and fuck all mess splatters against the glass.
What's happening to him?
Labor.
Russ collapses as the burster erupts from his chest. Shock contagiously mutes them all. The alien slithers onto the floor, covered in blood and gore. It looks around, screeches, then rolls on its side and is still.
Dad?
Before Thora can answer, it moves. Lines split along the creature's length in the shape of arms and legs. With a shudder, the limbs pull away from its side and begin reaching and grabbing. Claws appear, razor sharp.
How strong is this glass?
Then it's up, testing its new limbs. It walks around, hissing and screeching, quickly stable and agile. Then it sees Cordell at the door. It charges the glass, seeing a source of food, but the glass is strong and the alien bounces off. This angers the alien. It hisses and claws at the glass.
Christ. Let me kill it. Open a goddamn door.
She looks at Russ, dead on the floor.
No, it's trapped. Bruton Fullman.
Computer.
Lethal countermeasures activated.
Gas pours from a small spout hidden in the ceiling, filling the isolation room with fog.
We need to alert his wife.
That ship needs to be destroyed before any of these things head this way. And saw something big. What if it's one of those things, but bigger?
Go.
No, not.
Governor Lydecker, this is a crisis. No different than a breakdown in the reactor. You handle crisis one step at a time. First, you find the threat, and then you neutralize it.
Exactly.
And what happens when one of Cordell's men come back with one of those things attached to the faces?
They look into the fogged room. Nothing, no movement.
Then remove it before it kills them. Our prudent inaction already killed one man. I won't allow it to happen again. Cordell, go.
A moment of silence passes around the room.
I don't agree, nor do I authorize this operation.
Then I will enact medical protocol and assume control of this facility. Bypassing every human instinct that is my programming simulates. This is logically the best course of action, Governor.
The statement sinks in and Lydecker calms.
Doc, we don't know what's out there.
Yes, we do.
They stare, like trying to convince each other with only their eyes. Cordell has a hard-on for battle and looks back and forth between them. Lydecker looks to Cordell.
Small team.
Cordell nods to Marichek.
On deck in 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Marichek avoids eye contact with Thora.
No cowboying out there. I'm serious.
I've got you.
Marichek and Cordell exit. Thor taps some keys on her keyboard, and she and Lydecker watch as the gas in the room purges out, clearing their vision. The Xeno lays dead on the floor.
See, Governor? When you know how to exterminate a bug, they become far less frightening.
Interior garage bay, day. Marichek and 5 of his best men load dozens of seismic charges into makeshift bins strapped to the puddle jumpers.
Kick it in the ass, ladies. We got bugs to kill.
The men finish, hop on, and power up. The jumpers hum to life. Marichek throws on his helmet, lifts off, and the others follow him out of the bay and into the storm. Exterior, derelict ship, storm darkened day. The jumpers approach the derelict ship in a tight formation about 100 feet up. They circle. Marichek speaks into his neck mic radio.
You guys seeing this?
On the side of the derelict, multiple smaller craft lay scattered about. Landing craft, now aged, rusted, and in shambles. The unidentifiable objects on Lydecker's hologram.
Hadley Command, this is Merrick, over.
Cordell?
Go for Hadley Command.
Sir, we're seeing more of a dozen smaller craft around the opening to the ship.
Copy piracy vessels.
Hard to tell. They're all pretty tore up. Probably been here for more than a few years.
Copy. Can't help the dead. Sweep and clear for parasites after destroying the derelict.
Marichek? From 100? Go ahead.
Marichek?
All right, so take Pickett. I have point.
What's up?
I have movement in the canyon. Maybe survivors from one of those shuttles.
Pricer nods.
Everyone else, maintain perimeter scan. Moving in.
Marichek veers in and hovers just above the opening to the crevasse. Shining a spotlight into the crevasse, he sees nothing. Just jagged shards mixed with the smooth dome-like rocks. No, not rocks. Xenos in a huddled formation. An ambush. Marichek's slow movements uses calm.
I have a small cluster of contacts in a huddle.
Human?
Bug.
Pricer moves in closer when something catches his eye. A Xeno creeping across the ridge parallel to Marichek.
Bug on your 9! Climb!
Marichek hesitates, looks to his left. The Xeno stands and throws a facehugger through the air by its tail, like a grenade. It hits Marichek's jumper and clings to it. Marichek spins the bike and climbs as he looks around to locate the hugger. He stops.
I think it fell off.
The hugger leaps from the front of the jumper and latches onto his face. Pricer watches helplessly as Marichek spins through the air and crashes to the ground near the derelict ship.
Suppressive fire! I got him.
The other men go low and unleash pulse machine gun hell on the small army of Xenos that make their way towards Marichek's crashed jumper. Blasts of acidic blood spray in all directions. On the ground, a Xeno pulls Marechek away from the jumper just as the vehicle explodes. Interior derelict ship, egg room. The explosion echoes through the chamber, and pods begin opening one after the other. Exterior derelict ship. Pricer comes in low, blocking the Xeno that's dragging Marechek toward the derelict, toward the hive. Pricer lands and dismounts with his pistol drawn. Pop, pop, 2 down. A wave of 15 or 20 Xenos make their way towards him. Boom! The team hovering above drop charges on the brood. Blasm, blasm, blasm! Xeno flesh and acid blood spray everywhere. One of the jumpers goes in low to finish off the crawlers. A Xeno climbs atop one of the abandoned shuttles and pounces. The rider shoots the Xeno and the acid blood rains down on him from the open skull of the dead Xeno. His flesh melts as he screams in agony. His jumper nose dives into the shuttle, turning both vehicles into explosives. The shockwave slams into Pricer and the Xeno dragging Marechek. Both are knocked to the ground. Up in the air, one of the riders, Durand, 30s, sees the facehugger skittering out of the opening into the side of the derelict. He flies over and begins dropping charges on the hull, like fireworks on an anthill. The huggers blow apart, some fly through the air and some survive. Another jumper joins Durand and they systematically drop charges on the derelict hull, destroying it piece by piece. Under the derelict, and unbeknownst to the jumpers team, the ship sits on the edge of a ridge with the ends of the horseshoe shape on the ground, but the aft section of the hull rests close to a cliff. Every explosion causes the ship to tilt more and more. On the ground, Pricer, a facehugger, skitters up from behind a rock. Pricer turns just as the facehugger launches itself towards him. He shoots and dodges the spray. The Xeno that was pulling Marechek stands. Pop! Pricer drops his ass and approaches Marechek quickly. He pokes the facehugger on Marechek's face. Its tail squeezes Marechek's neck. No choice. He loads Marechek on his jumper and rises. He keys his comm.
Hadley Command, this is Pricer. Wakran bought it and Marechek has one of those spider things on his face. I need guidance.
Interior Medlab Day. Cordell responds into his comm. Behind him, Thora turns away.
By the numbers, Pricer, you can't bring him back.
No.
Yes, sir.
Cordell looks grim. Thora walks over and grabs the comm.
Mr. Pricer, bring Marechek to Medlab immediately.
Cordell grabs the comm back.
Delay that. Stay on point and don't come back until you've destroyed that ship and everything in it. Confirm.
A terrifying pause.
Sir?
We took a risk and failed. Call them back.
Cordell pockets his comm and faces off with Thora.
I know you have a fondness or whatever the robot equivalent is for him, but this is about survival. If we don't kill those things, this colony dies. Marechek knew the risk.
Thora tries to hold on to the stare down, but she blinks first.
Governor Lydecker?
Lydecker leans against the glass wall, folds his arms, unwilling to take a side. Wham! The presumed dead Xeno smashes into the other side of the unbreakable glass wall, and Lydecker jumps away. Exterior, derelict ship, day. 3 jumpers zigzag over the ship. Seismic charges obliterate huge sections of the ship. One jumper targets facehuggers trying to escape. Interior, derelict ship, day. A charge falls through a hole in the blasted roof. It lands next to one of Russ's charges, then goes off. This causes a domino effect, charge after charge exploding. The ship rips apart from the inside out. Exterior, derelict ship, day. Pricer and his men race away from the massive fireball as the derelict slides off the cliff side and crumbles in an explosive, hive-destroying cataclysm. Exterior, miles from the derelict ship, day. The Queen watches the derelict transform into a fireball. She hisses, turns, and continues her trek towards a glow on the opposing horizon, the colony. Interior, Medlab, day. The Xeno bobs its head and slowly moves around, feeling the glass wall, a hiss with every denial of exit.
Jesus.
Immune to phosgene.
Let me kill it.
No, it's neutralized.
The Xeno relents, turns towards Russ's corpse. It leaps and begins tearing into it, feasting.
Then let me finalize it.
The only way for you to kill it is to open the door.
Then open a fucking door, android.
Cordell, calm down. She's right.
It's eating Russ.
Not going anywhere.
It's eating Russ. At this rate, the thing grows. These windows might not hold until it's ready for dessert. And where the fuck are you planning on putting Marechek when he comes back with that thing on his face? The mess hall? Right before dinner? Oh, the colonists will fucking love that, won't they?
Lydecker sees the logic, and Thora is lost in thought.
We take him off site like we were planning to do with Russ.
No, we'll do it here. We don't need to quarantine Marechek like we did Russ. I can remove it right here.
I can have a shuttle prepped in less than 5. Pre-flight checks are already done.
Cordell watches the both of them like a tennis match.
Oh, that's bleeding great. We saved Marechek, but there's still a 5-foot-tall fucking alien living on the other side of that glass. And Russ ain't rising from the dead, mate. That alone is going to get people talking. You need to address this situation.
Thora squints with thought. Some new addition to the room that she previously overlooked.
Cordell?
Ma'am?
What's in the crate?
The crate with the samples collected by the Jordans rests next to the doorway. Interior, garage bay, night. The large doors, though closed, shudder from the storm picking up outside. The entirety of the colony stands waiting as Lydecker climbs atop a small platform, microphone in hand.
Good evening.
The crowd murmurs, turns to a hushed whisper. Exterior Hadley's Hope, Southlock night. Pricer pulls up in an increasingly shitty weather and pulls Marechek from the jumper.
I've called you all here to address the ongoing crisis in D Block.
Interior garage bay night.
Well, I can't tell you everything. I will tell you everything I can. I'm sure many of you have heard the rumors about Russ Jordan.
Anne, teary-eyed, watches alone. Newt and Timmy not present. She makes eye contact with Lydecker. Interior medlab night. The cold steel table reflects the surgical lights as they load Marechek's body onto it, facehugger breathing away on his skull.
Medlab was under quarantine because Russ came back from a survey run with something on his face, an unknown alien parasite. At the time, we didn't understand the severity of the situation, and as a result, Russ Jordan passed away this morning.
Interior garage bay night. A shocked murmur passes through the crowd.
Now, in an effort to ensure the safety of the colony, this afternoon we sent a small security team to the site to eradicate any further parasitic threats.
The hell kind of parasite was it?
If it killed Russ, how do we know it won't kill us?
What about my kids? Our families?
I can't get into specifics, but Dr. Heller assures me that we have the situation under control.
Bullshit.
Then let us back into D-Block. We live there.
Crowd rabbles.
The second level will remain sealed for the time being, but all domiciles on level 1 and sub-level 1 alpha will be reopened immediately.
Someone throws a beer bottle at him.
Hey!
Interior medlab night. Thora stands alone next to the operating table, Marechek's body bathed in light. She looks at him, trying to partition her emotions from the job at hand. She prods the hugger, and its tail tightens around his throat. She raises a scalpel. Interior garage bay night. Cordell pulls Lydecker down as the crowd surges towards him. They yell. Fear now controls the mob.
This isn't the way.
They're not listening, you twat.
Some people loyal to Lydecker shield him from the mob as Cordell exit. Barry and Sylv among them. Interior medlab night. Thora cuts into the tail. Acid blood spurts out, then trickles down onto Marechek's throat. His flesh melts away like wet tissue paper, and blood flows uncontrollably from the gaping wound. Thora drops her scalpel, stumbles backwards, and watches helplessly as Marechek bleeds out. Marechek flatlines and the hugger releases. Thora stands in disbelief. She just killed a human, and not just any human. Skitter, skitter, skitter. The hugger crawls towards her, climbs up her leg. She snaps out of it, grabs it, and places into a cylinder full of liquid, still alive. Carter Burke will eventually attempt to kill Ripley and Newt with this very same hugger. Exterior, processor, night. Just outside of the exit, 3 workers, Luco, 40s, Steph, 40s, and Mags, 20s, stand in a corner out of the storm, smoking.
Heard you got to talk to your parents back on Blue Rock.
Mags nods, the new guy.
Company's moving them back to the moon.
Better than living in an orbital tin can, yeah?
I guess, but the moon isn't much better. Overpop, shortage of food.
Same old shit.
Yeah.
You got family, right?
Yeah, wife and kids.
Luco perks up.
How hot is she?
Mags flicks his lit cigarette at Luco in response.
I saw her getting her chip in med lab. She'll be a good breeder for sure.
What? What the fuck did you just say?
Company didn't tell you? Costs more to ship workers to this rock than it does to make them the old-fashioned way. Steph, how many kids you got?
4. You?
Who knows? 5, 6?
Mags looks shocked.
You been here, what, a month? You ain't heard about the orgies?
Mags shakes his head.
Sunday nights, the kids do movies in the garage, and the adults do a gangbang in B block. And attendance is mandatory.
Fuck that.
We all gotta do our part, kid.
Mags looks at the two of them in angry disbelief. They let it sink in before busting a gut with laughter.
We're fucking with you, man.
Fucking add this guy. You see his face?
As the two veteran colonists chuckle, something catches Mags' attention.
Hey, who's that?
A Xeno moves in the distance, distorted by the storm. Luco and Steph wipe away their tears and look.
Oh, God.
I don't see.
Straight out from the reactor.
She guides his vision with her fingers.
I can't tell who it is. Hey, dumbass! Coming from the storm before you catch a fucking shard to your head, you idiot.
They laugh until something doesn't feel right. The Xeno disappears into the darkness.
I think I'm gonna go back in.
Yeah.
Right behind you, pussies. Right after I finish this, but God knows when the next shipment will get here.
Mags opens the door and he and Steph pass through. Luco looks out to where the Xeno was. He steps out into the storm and walks towards the Xeno's last known position. He turns on his flashlight and scans around. Nothing. He moves closer, venturing around the corner. Still nothing. A glow catches his eye and he approaches to find a large hole melted into the wall of the processor.
What the?
Through the hole, a set of stairs with large print painted on the wall next to a down arrow, sub-level 3. Hiss! He turns around quickly to see a Xeno. It reaches for him. Interior control, night. Al watches the crowd in the garage as a monitor as, God, let me start that one over. Al watches the crowd in the garage on a monitor while Nux sits in the background monitoring the hologram.
I'm getting weird readings in sub-level 3, just below the cooling towers.
Al doesn't take anything lightly at this point.
Fine weird.
I'm showing 0 airflow from 7 of the 8 heat exchange vents, and cameras are blacked out too.
Define blacked out.
They have power, but no video.
Send the foreman down.
Interior processor night. The foreman, Wilkes, 40s, holds the radio to his ear, listening to Nux.
Copy, en route.
Interior processor stairwell night. Wilkes descends the stairs. At level 1, he passes the hole in the wall.
Control, this is Wilkes. We have a massive hole in the wall on the north side of the tower. I'd say about 10 by 20, maybe storm damage or...
He examines the edges of the hole.
Looks almost weld cut.
Copy.
Continuing to sub 3.
He descends the stairs. The queen slowly moves in behind him, out of focus, in the shadows. Wilkes clicks on his flashlight and pans around, taking in the hive walls, still dripping with fresh resin. The beam passes over camouflaged Xenos. He reaches out and touches the wall, rubs his fingers together, forming a ball with the slime. He grimaces. He brings the radio to his mouth.
Control?
Hiss! Wilkes turns and is face to face with the queen. He struggles to understand just what the fuck he's saying. A Xeno descends behind him and snatches him up before he can even think about screaming. Interior control night. Static from the speakers.
Say again?
More static. Al looks up at her.
Team 12 lead control, respond.
Nothing.
Send a DC team to check out that hole. Tell Wilkes we've lost comms. Maybe energy residuals from the tower would explain the cameras and the radio.
Yeah, but what about the vents?
Al shrugs a how the fuck should I know shrug. Interior med lab night. Lydecker and Thora stand next to Marichek's body. Thora writes her report on a clipboard. She's never looked more like a robot. The 3 specimens now rest in their canisters.
Acidic blood.
You're kidding, right?
It ate through the soft tissues quickly, but dissipated equally as fast.
Thora notices a cut on the side of Lydecker's temple.
Let me clean that.
I'm good. It's just
He notices that her attention has shifted. Her eyes are doing that weird digitized thing.
What?
I just lost vitals on Luca Ramos.
PDT malfunction?
No, adrenaline and heart rate spiked and then went silent.
Lydecker grabs his radio from his waist.
Control, this is Lydecker.
Intercut with interior control night. Nux grabs the radio, annoyed.
Yeah, go for control.
I need a location on Lucas Ramos.
Stand by.
She types into a computer. A map of the complex displays on a screen. A dot blips.
He's on sub-level 3. Strange though. I read his PDT, but it's...
We know. Get the on-site med team down there to check it out.
On it.
Al stands by the window looking through binoculars. He understands the severity, but he's focused.
We just lost vitals on...
I heard. Send the team.
Exterior processor night. Binocular point of view. The repair team approaches the hole in the Wildcat. Interior med lab night. Lydecker pulls a sheet over Marichek as Cordell enters.
Everyone is
His words fall off as he sees the draped body. His eyes meet Lydecker's scowl.
Which?
Marichek.
Damn it. Where's the rest of the team?
Accounted for, one way or another.
Cordell's face hardens.
And the ship?
Interior control night. Al stares intensely through the binoculars.
Did you just say that Ramos was on sub 3?
Yeah.
Exterior processor night. Al's binocular point of view. 2 of the 3 repairmen approach the hole in the wall, barely visible through the storm. Repairman 1, the closest to the hole, turns to run, falls.
What the?
Something unseen drags him into the hole as the other 2 repairmen run for their transport. 2 Xenos leap out of the haze of the storm, grab them, and drag them in through the hole. Interior control night. Al stumbles his fat ass over to his radio. Panic and protocol at war in his head.
Repair 1, control.
Silence.
Repair 1, come in, goddammit!
Nothing. Then a beep and screams.
I want everyone out the processor.
Which reactor?
Fucking all of them now!
He changes the channel on his radio, his hands shaking so bad he can barely hold the mic.
Lie, it's Al.
Go over Lydecker.
Interior med lab night. The fear in Al's voice has Lydecker and Thor's attention.
I need you and Doc Heller in control now. We have an emergency situation in the processor.
Jesus H.
Lydecker and Thor rush out. Interior processor night. A crew of 20 plus workers walks the scaffolding that runs past huge columns of pipes and cables. Steam spews out of bad weld seams on many of the large pipes. Mags and Steph walk in partnership, both heavy laden with tools and equipment. Interior, the shithole bar, night. The bartender, Joey, 60s, and other drinkers lean back and listen to Barry and Sylv blabber on.
He had this thing on his face, man, like a giant spider thing.
He puts his open palm on his face, mimicking the face hugger.
You think there's more of them?
Goddamn right there's more of them. That's why they're keeping D-Block on lockdown.
Barry takes a swig.
My old man always said, you knew shit was about to hit the fan when the people in charge started telling you to remain calm. I like the governor, but come on.
Joey's had enough.
Guys, you're freaking people out. Sip your beer in peace and stop scaring the rabble, eh?
Won't be drinking much when we got spider things all over our faces.
Interior control night. Lydecker and Thora enter. Cordell rushes in on their heels.
What's...
Those things are in the processor.
What things?
That thing in the med lab, there's more of them.
Thora gets it immediately.
They need hosts, but there hasn't been enough time.
I just watched my fucking repair team get jacked by at least 2 of them, maybe more.
Lydecker looks to Thora.
Jesus. Marichek said there were dozens of ships near the derelict. We could be facing an army.
Luca Ramos.
Lydecker turns to his security chief.
Cordell, get Pricer.
Cordell is gone like he was never even there. Interior med lab night. Cordell pulls the white curtain away from the glass wall. The Xeno crouches on the floor, feet together, head down between its knees, waiting. It's a lot larger than it was before, full grown, and most of Russ's corpse has been consumed. Cordell unlocks the bail on his holster. Interior processor night. Mags and Steph continue their reading when an alarm begins to sound and the yellow spinning warning light activates. The computer speaks to them via loudspeaker.
This is a general evacuation. This is not a drill. All processor personnel report to landing pad Alpha for transport.
The alert
This
repeats
is
over and
a
over in the
general
background.
evacuation.
Mags?
And
Steph?
We're getting paid, so who gives up?
Wham! Perfectly camouflaged among the pipes, a Xeno reaches out and grabs Steph. Mags recoils as the Xeno leaps over the railing with Steph. In shock, he looks down the catwalk as other workers run in panic as more Xenos emerge and snatch them up. He reaches for his radio as he backs away from the terrifying scene. He fumbles to release it when he bumps into something. He turns and a Xeno, 7 feet tall, opens its mouth and reveals its second mouth. His scream is sharp, blood-curdling, and short-lived. Interior med lab night. Cordell stares at the Xeno, which doesn't move.
Corvus oculum corvi non eruit.
Manual override accepted.
He pushes a button on the wall. The glass door slides open. The Xeno slowly rises but does not attack. The stench of Russ's remains hits Cordell in the face, but he breathes it in.
You like that smell, don't you?
Cordell raises his gun, then stops and smiles.
Smart fucker. I think you know that if I shoot you, I'll blow acid all over the place.
He thinks, then raises his gun.
You know what I think? I think too much.
Before he can take the shot, like lightning, the Xeno flies at him. Interior D-block hallway night. The door hisses open and Lydecker and Thora come running toward MedLab.
He let it out.
Where?
Lydecker rushes into interior MedLab night. He looks around. No blood, just Cordell's gun on the ground. Thora picks it up.
Are you reading his PDT?
She nods, her eyes digitizing.
He's alive.
Interior South Lock night. A keypad. A trembling finger reaches out to push it. Cordell's finger. The Xeno holds him by the back of the neck, hissing into his ear as Cordell pushes the button to open the door. The interior doors hiss open, revealing the lock area and the heavier exterior doors. Interior D-block hallway, night. Lydecker brings his radio to his mouth.
Al, he's gone. Cordell and that fucking thing are gone. Lock down the colony now, and I need a 20 on Cordell.
He's outside. Looks like he's heading past West Lock towards North Lock.
The fucking alien has him.
Exterior West Lock, night. The Xeno drags Cordell.
You're going back to your kind. You're going to fucking bring him back here.
The Xeno's grip tightens around Cordell's neck. He winces. Alarms sound.
Uh-oh. They found out you flew the coop, mate.
Interior, the shithole bar, night. Barry and Sylv and the others hear the alarm.
That's the lockdown alarm.
Come on, you drunk bastards. Let's get back to the families.
Exterior North Lock, night. Cordell is built like a linebacker and the Xeno struggles to drag him. Passing North Lock.
Where the fuck are you? Hey! Hey!
Cordell realizes that the Xeno considers him a takeout meal. He plants his feet, spins around, and shifts his weight to drop both knees to the ground. Using a combination move, he grabs the Xeno's wrist and drives the butt of his opposing palm into it. The Xenobone and exoskeleton snap loudly. The Xeno hisses and releases Cordell. Cordell rolls away, then rights himself into a fighting stance. The rain and wind howl and tear at Cordell. The Xeno, one hand hanging floppy, doesn't back down. It hisses a challenge at Cordell, and they begin to circle each other. Cordell removes a knife from the inside of his boot.
You want them? You've got to get through me first.
The North Lock doors hiss open, revealing Lydecker and Thora. Bird's eye view, 10 fucking Xenos crawling silently across the roof of the colony towards the entrance to North Block. Exterior, bar, night. Barry and Sylv exit out, followed by the other workers. They hear shouting, round a corner, and see Cordell facing off with the Xena.
I think we should go to the other.
Barry takes a step forward, then looks over and sees a small yellow utility truck. Exterior North Lock, night. Lydecker and Thora stand there, unsure what to do as Cordell and the Xeno circle each other.
What's it doing? Why isn't it running away?
I don't know. It's almost like it's waiting.
For what?
For Cordell to move first?
Oh, fuck this.
Cordell rushes the alien. It spins and flings its tail at Cordell like a spear. He leaps over it, tucks and rolls. This is a fighting man, unafraid, ready to die for a cause. The Xeno bobs and weaves gracefully, then twists and flings its tail again. Cordell swings at it with his knife and misses. The Xeno reacts to the weapon and backs off. Cordell rushes in, dips down to juke, and it works. The Xeno goes for the play, and Cordell quickly shifts his weight, bringing the knife right across the alien's throat. Acid sprays all over Cordell's arm, and he falls in pain. Thora rushes out as the Xeno grabs at his throat. It falls over, writhing. Thora hoists Cordell with her inhuman machine strength. They turn back to the North Lock, only to see the Xenos on the roof, descending the walls.
Seal North Lock.
The computer's voice echoes.
North Lock.
The interior doors grind slowly on their tracks. Thora and Lydecker stare in disbelief at the doors.
Come on, goddammit, come on!
Then a Xeno appears 10 meters outside the lock. It targets its meal and rushes Lydecker, Thora, and Cordell. Wham! Barry rams into the alien at full speed with the yellow utility vehicle, smashing the creature against a nearby shed. 2 more Xenos appear and head right for the lock. Barry backs up, slams the vehicle into drive, and floors it. He smashes into a Xeno mere feet from the lock, but slams into the nearly closed interior bay doors and knocks them off track. They actuate back and forth, but never seal. The exterior doors begin to close behind him, and he slams it into reverse, then spins around on the ramp. A Xeno leaps from a nearby roof atop and charges Barry. It's nearly on him when a beer can smashes into its head, knocking it off balance.
Right here, you fucker.
Sylv and the other bar patrons throw a barrage of bottles and whatever they can get their hands on at the Xenos. The monsters back off and Barry makes a break for it. The group cheers until 2 Xenos jump into the mob, grab Sylv and the other guys. Bang, bang! Thora shoots at the Xenos. They hiss at her, gather their dead and Cordell's arm and escape up the walls. Thora runs to the doors and tries to pry it open remotely. Then, from the keypad, no response.
Open it up and bypass.
No time, they're here.
In agony, Cordell tries to hang tough.
Motherfuckers took my arm!
Lydecker runs over to the bar and enters. Interior, shithole bar, night. Scared patrons scream as Lydecker enters.
Joey's
behind the bar, calmly tearing rags into strips.
Be right with you, Governor.
I need the most flammable shit you got.
I'm nautical miles ahead of you, Pa.
Joey stuffs the rag strips into bottles filled with liquid. Lydecker addresses the crowd, and Barry enters behind him.
All right, everybody listen up. You're all in extreme danger, and it's not safe here. North Lock is buggered, so we're going to go back through the garage.
A woman stands up and backs away from Lydecker.
There, the monsters.
You go out fighting, or they come in here and get you. What's it going to be?
The woman thinks, then shrugs agreement.
All right, so everybody grab a fire bottle or something that can be used as a weapon, and follow me. Now, people, we got to go.
The fearful crowd rises to their feet. Interior, control, night. Al grabs a microphone.
Attention, colonists, attention.
Interior hallway, night. Panicked colonists scurry everywhere. Anne drags Newt and Timmy behind her.
Come on!
We are under attack by alien monsters, lots of them. I need all able-bodied personnel to ensure that all exterior doors remain sealed.
Newt breaks away from Anne and Timmy and eyes an air vent.
I know somewhere we can hide. Mom.
Anne isn't listening, and soon Newt loses her in the crowd.
Mom.
Interior, control, night. Al looks out the window and sees 30 plus Xenos approaching from the processor.
Fuck me, Blue.
He slams his palm on a button in the control board, and exterior Hadley's Hope, night. Metal storm shutters extend to cover windows all over the colony. Interior, control, night. Al points a fat finger at Nux.
I want ventilation locked down, plumbing too, not just the flow, the valves, the baffles too, now!
Nux presses buttons on her own control board. Exterior Hadley's Hope, garage bay, night. Lydecker, Thora, Cordell, and the crowd from the bar approach the doors when they begin to close.
No, God, no, we're still out here.
2 Xenos rush them from the Barrens. Barry throws a Molotov cocktail and the fire forces them back, but more Xenos appear.
Light them up, fellas.
They throw the cocktails to make a path to the door. The Xenos refuse to cross the fire boundary. The crowd of them rush into the garage as Barry and Joey stand outside, lobbing bottle after bottle at the Xenos. The aliens test the flames, then jump over them.
Hurry up, goddammit.
The door is almost shut. The last of the group crawls through. Barry bolts under, but Joe's a tick too slow. He throws his last bottle at one Xeno as another appears and snatches him up. Interior hallway night. A group of colonists run towards the hallway, led by Pricer.
Look, we need to get to the armory.
Some of the colonists follow him, some hold back. One of them is Anne, with Timmy in tow. A coward of a man speaks up.
I'm waste management. Man, not fucking security. We're safer locked in our bunks.
The man runs off. The remaining colonists scatter. Anne looks around, afraid and confused, then runs off after the man. Interior control night. Nux reviews data that streams from several monitors.
We're bottled up except for 2 doors, East Lock and Garage Bay 2. North Lock exteriors are good, but showing a malfunction on the inner doors.
Lydecker enters.
Garage Bay 2 was me. It's closed, but we bypassed the controls.
Where are Doc Heller and Cordell?
Med lab. Cordell's hurt bad. Give me a sit rep.
We got some of those things inside. I'm not sure how many.
On a CCTV camera, Al shows where the Xenos are stalking the hallways, taking people and dragging them out.
Shit.
They're not killing anyone. They're just taking them.
Taking where?
Al looks to Nux. She types, brings up the display.
I show a mass of PDTs popping down in sub-level 3.
It's a hive. Hosts.
A million thoughts crowd Lydecker's head. Every human life teeters on his next move.
Northlock has the armory.
No good. The interior doors won't seal.
South Lock then gives us access to control med lab. We can seal it off.
It's already sealed off.
No, we held the door shut and then barricade them with anything that's not bolted down.
What about food, water?
It's temporary. Right now, we need to stay alive. Who's that? Pricer?
On screen, Pricer and his group enter the armory. Lydecker grabs a radio.
Pricer, it's Lydecker.
Yeah.
Hey, gather all of the small arms and low-yield seismic grenades you can carry. Meet me in South Block. These fuckers picked the wrong fight. Wrong host.
Interior hallway night. Anne's group comes around the corner to find a floor plate missing.
Okay, give me a hand with this.
The loudspeaker crackles.
All personnel report to South Block hallway immediately. The colony has been compromised by alien organisms. I repeat, everyone get to D block.
The coward and Borquez slide the plate back into place. Anne hears movement above her and looks up. Mommy? Above them, the ceiling panels collapse as a half dozen Xenos drop down. Seconds later, everyone is gone and the hallway is silent. Interior ventilation, Newt's hideout, night. Newt huddles in the corner. Terrified screams echo down upon her from the ventilation shafts. Not just from her mom's group, but from all over the colony. Her eyes glaze over and she starts to rock back and forth. Interior, Northlock, hallway. Pricer and the few that followed him exit the armory with bags full of guns, ammo, and seismic charges. One of the followers, Greta, 20s, sees Xenos approaching. Greta? I'll continue. Pricer pulls out a shotgun. The others follow suit.
Shh. Waste them!
The aliens fall under a hail of lead. Gallons of acid blood spills and melts through the floor panels. Aliens die, but more appear. Someone throws a seismic charge. Blam! Interior med lab night. Thora looks into the quarantine room and sees what remains of Russ on the floor.
Barry, would you please move Russ's remains?
Barry and some others approach, see Russ's carcass.
Jesus, he stinks.
One man runs to a sink and vomits.
Wow.
They carry out Russ's body. Thora grabs the skeletal face hugger and sets it on a research table next to 3 samples floating in the cylinders. Some of the bar patrons are spooked by them.
Trust me, love. They're the least of your worries. Help me with Mr. Cordell.
They lift Cordell onto the bed where Russ just laid a day earlier. The doors at the east end of the hallway open and Lydecker appears with Al, Nux, and about 10 survivors.
Pricer.
This is everyone. I still have PDT vitals on about 90% of colonists.
Alive?
Yes, but
what?
Most of them, they're calm. Vital signs resemble REM sleep.
So many captured, probably implanted. Lydecker breaks under the pressure, flips over a nearby medical tray in anger.
Calm down, Governor. We need to formulate a plan to rescue them.
Gunshots echo from behind the door at the end of the hall. The door opens and Pricer backs in with his posse, guns blazing. Once inside, he closes the security door behind him. Almost immediately, Xenos slam against the door. It holds, for now. Lydecker exhales. Interior hallway night. Newt climbs out of an air vent. Screams echo, fewer now. A Xeno stalks down the corridor. Newt bolts across to another vent and enters. The Xeno's head snaps around, but sees nothing. Interior, D-block hallway, night. Wham! A bed piles atop an already huge stack of debris that clogs the halls as Barry and the others finish their barricade.
Look, we've been at it all night. Some of you go get some sleep. We'll rotate. If they was trying to get in here, we'd know it. It's gone quiet.
Interior control, day. Lydecker, Al, and the others rest fitfully, half asleep. Thor sits at a console typing. On screen, the graphic wireframe of the escape shuttle. Thor stands. She taps Lydecker awake with her foot, and he jolts up with a start.
Yeah.
I'm going for the evacuation shuttle.
Where is
Within reach, walking distance.
Al, eyes still closed, but awake.
Other side of the complex, halfway to the processor.
No dice. We need a doctor. Can't afford to lose you to those.
These things don't want me. I offer them nothing. I'm not a host.
Al sits up, frustrated.
She has a point. You or I go, and we're just another meat sack waiting to be face fucked.
Thor casts a disapproving look at Al.
What? Am I wrong?
Lydecker stretches, looks to Thora.
What about the colonists that they took last night?
Thora's eyes digitize again. She shakes her head.
We have to assume they're all hosts by now.
There's only 20 or so of us left. That would mean that we could be looking at over 130 of those things.
In addition to whatever numbers they already had.
The bad news casts a gloom.
It's been quiet for hours, but they'll be back for the rest of us.
So I need to go now.
Interior, D-block, hallway, day. Thora stands in front of the door, a holster on her hip.
I'll be back in 20 to 30 minutes. Watch the comms.
Thora looks through the window.
Clear.
She opens the door, and it closes behind her. Interior processor, sublevel 3, day. The hive complete, hundreds of colonists cocooned to the walls. Screams erupt as facehuggers drop off of colonists' faces. Some see their situation. Interior, hallway, day. Thora walks the hallway, eyeing all of the damage. Acid holes, some blood, no bodies. Passing a doorway, something catches her eye. Thora looks into the mess hall. Interior, mess hall, day. Newt shovels food into her backpack. Thora enters.
Rebecca?
Newt spins, scared to death. She collects herself quickly.
I was hungry.
She runs to Thora and hugs her, and Thora hugs her back.
I thought I was the only one.
Thora scans the room. Her spider-like medbot rests in a corner with the rest of her gear. She picks it up.
Everyone left us in med lab. I'm going for a shuttle, and we're evacuating the colony.
She taps some buttons on it, and it hums to life. She powers it down, turns Newt around, and stuffs it in her backpack.
Are my mom and Timmy with the others?
I'm not sure. I would have to.
Newt backs away, angry.
What is it?
If they were alive, you would have just said yes.
Thora stares at the girl, expressionless.
I don't have time to take you back to med lab. We need to get to the shuttle before those things come back.
Where's my family?
Flashback. A scalpel cuts into the alien. Acid blood flows, and Marechek dies. End flashback. Thora looks down at Newt. Her humanity somehow less.
They're in the processor with all of the others and will probably die. Can we go now?
Interior D-block hallway, day. Lidecker inspects the barricades.
We took down the ceiling tiles and welded plates at all the access points. No way those things are getting through.
Good job.
Lidecker turns to face the tired remnants of the colony.
It's been a long night, and everyone in this room has lost someone.
Interior processor, sublevel 3, day. In the hive, some colonists scream, some pray, most cry.
So I'm not going to tell you that that it's okay, that everything's going to be all right, because it's not.
Interior D-block hallway, day. Lidecker musters all of the confidence he can.
I promise I'll do whatever I have to do to get last one of you out of here. So this is what's going to happen. Dr. Heller's en route to the evac shuttle. In about a half hour, she's going to touch down just outside of Beastlock. We're going to get the hell off of this rock. Until then, we stay here. This is our Alamo. They get in, we fight to our last.
Interior control, day. Al and Nux work the controls. An animated hologram of the processor shows a series of failures resulting in a meltdown and massive explosion.
That could work. How long?
Setting it up is simple. The real problem is that there's no way to tell how long the actual cascade will take. Might take 10 minutes, might be 30, but once it starts...
She forms a mushroom cloud shape with her hand. Boom.
Timing is everything.
The gravity of the situation hits Al.
I'll do it.
Al, no offense, but you're like really fat, so yeah, you can't wait for everyone to get on board, run back here, deactivate the remaining cooling towers, and then run to the shuttle in less than 2 minutes. Just let me do it. Right? I mean, we can watch the fireworks together from orbit, okay? Easy peasy.
What if one of those things gets you?
Then I'll admit you should have stayed inside of me and probably beg you to kill me.
She smiles and he nods.
Get everything ready, so all you need to do is get back here, press the button, and run. Got it?
She nods seriously. Al leaves and Nux begins the process of shutting down the cooling towers, preparing for meltdown. Interior processor, sublevel 3, day. Steam falls from the ceiling. A series of loud clicks precedes the dying hum of machinery powering down. The Queen looks up and hisses. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, shuttle pads, nightfall. 2 evac shuttles sit on a concrete landing pad. Each is large enough to hold up to 100 personnel. Thora and Newt stand behind a wall as Thora scans the area for roaming Xenos.
We need to hurry.
She and Newt run to the shuttle. Interior, shuttle cockpit, nightfall. Thora drops into the pilot seat, Newt into the other.
Strap in.
Thora presses buttons, then stops. A Xeno stands on the roof of the colony, right in front of them. Lightning flashes, and more appear. Interior, D-block hallway, night. Lidecker, Pricer, Barry, and the others listen to the skitter of Xenos on the roof above them.
They're here.
Where the hell is Doc?
The crowd stares at the ceiling.
She'll be here.
Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. Thora flips switches and presses buttons.
This is gonna get a bit dicey, Rebecca. Hold on tight and don't touch the controls, okay?
She presses a last button and the shuttle engines cycle up. Exterior, shuttle, night. A dozen Xenos look in the direction of the loud engines. Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. The display shows the shuttle at 45% power and rising.
Come on, damn it.
Wump, wump. Xenos jump from the rooftop and land on the shuttle's roof.
Don't be afraid, Newt. Only a minute or so more.
The display climbs to 70%. A Xeno appears on the outside of the windshield, followed by another that crawls towards the nose of the shuttle.
Almost there, okay?
Newt stares at the Xeno crossing the window, speechless. She nods and gives a thumbs up. Wump, 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 wump. More jump and land on top of the shuttle. The display hits 90%. A Xeno head appears next to Newt's window. It hisses and begins beating on the window.
Brave girl, brave girl.
More Xenos appear and beat on the windows. Newt tears up but doesn't scream. Finally, 100%. And the window cracks. Newt screams. Thora yanks on the control pod and the shuttle leaps into the air, straight up. Exterior, shuttle, night. The Xenos fall from the shuttle, land on all fours. One slides down the back before sinking razor-sharp claws into the metal skin of the fuselage. Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. Thora looks out as they rise above the colony. On the other side, an army of Xenos skitter across the rooftops, the ground, and the walls. But there's something else with them, something huge. It's the Queen, charging through the crowd of aliens like a rhino, straight for the side of D Block. Interior D Block hallway, night. Lydecker and the others hear a sound of all the Xenos above them. He smiles.
It's holding.
Ka-wham! The entire bulkhead next to the barrier pushes in. Pricer's head snaps to Lydecker.
The fuck was that?
Interior shuttle cockpit, night. Thora watches as the Queen pulls back from the bulkhead to ram again. Xenos surround her, eager to claim the hosts within. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. Thora hovers above the horde, brings the shuttle down low just above the Queen, distracting her. On the ground, all of the Xenos look up at the underside of the shuttle. Its engines burn white hot. Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. Thora pushes a button, grabs a control pad.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to kill all the monsters, honey.
2 more buttons.
We created this world.
Smash! The forward windshield implodes as a single remaining Xeno punches through. Newt screams as it grabs Thora by the face. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. The shuttle spins like a top. Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. Thora hits the vertical thrust hard and the Xeno releases her face, claws at the control board, then holds on to the frame of the window. Sparks fly and alarms sound. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. The heat blast fries the Xenos and blows them every which way as the shuttle barely clears the colony and rises. The Queen grabs an injured Xeno, arms and legs kicking, and tears it to pieces, then uses the flowing acid blood to burn through the colony bulkhead. The corrosion begins. Exterior, the Baron's night. The shuttle careens away from the colony. The Xeno finally loses its grip and flies off. Interior, shuttle cockpit, night. Thora struggles to control the shuttle as it descends.
Newt, the blue button, quick!
Newt pushes the button and the door blows off the shuttle.
Crawl to the door and wait for me.
Newt complies. Interior, D Block hallway, night. The exterior bulkhead wall to the barrier begins to corrode away.
This is it. Don't let him in.
The first gap big enough for a Xeno to fit through opens up and gunfire erupts. Exterior, Baron's night. Thor brings the shuttle under control and sets it into a slow-moving hover a few meters from the ground. Interior, shuttle door, night. Newt looks at the colony from afar. Gunshots echo, muzzle flashes, total chaos. Thora appears, snatches Newt up without warning, turns and falls through the door with her back to the ground, shielding Newt. Exterior, the Baron's night. They fall from the shuttle, landing hard. The shuttle holds the hover for a second before tilting and spinning again. It crashes a quarter mile from the colony. Interior, D Block hallway, night. Xenos enter through the corroded hole, are riddled with bullets and fall back, replaced by fresh Xenos. Some drag away their dead.
Woo! They must enjoy the taste of lead.
Hal looks to Nux.
Do your thing, but get back here quick, okay?
Okay.
She runs off. 4 Xenos breach. Al grabs a seismic charge, lobs it at the hole. Kablasm! The 4 Xenos inside and all of those waiting to enter explode. Acid blasts across 6 or 7 colonists. They're out of the fight. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. The force of the blast hits the Queen and sends her flying. She gets up unharmed, but backs away. More gunfire, more force entry, more Xeno death. Interior, D Block hallway. Xenos enter, grab the injured colonists and drag them out. One alien takes a shot to the arm, drops the colonist, but another quickly enters and grabs her, drags her out.
Help me, no!
Interior, control, night. Nux runs in, slams her hand on the red button. On screen, error.
The activation of the cooling towers will result in processor meltdown. Unable to comply.
No, come on.
She types commands, manual override. On screen, error.
The activation of the cooling towers will result in processor meltdown. Unable to comply.
Fucker.
Nux runs out. As she runs, she hears screams coming from the barricaded portion of D Block and skids to a halt.
They're inside.
Shit.
Scared, she backs away and runs off down a hallway. Weeks later, she'll be the last colonist to hatch out when the Colonial Marines arrive and find her in sublevel 3. Exterior, the Baron's night. Newt and Thora watch the horrible scene play out. Thora's left eye sparks and the synthetic skin on her left side of her face has been torn away. She's hurt.
Does it hurt? Your face.
Thora's smile is marred by her injury, but she's touched by Newt's concern. Her humanity resurfaces in that smile.
Hurry, back to the colony.
Interior, med lab night. The gunfire and explosions wake Cordell and he manages to drag himself up, sans one arm. On the deck, an assortment of supplies. Among the boxes, ammo, and a bag of seismic charges someone left behind. He picks them up. In exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. Thora and Newt approach Westlock, away from the carnage where the Wildcat sits.
Come on, over here.
Newt points to a vent.
It's safe.
You go. Get to the others. They have guns.
Where are you going?
Thora opens the door to the Wildcat, pulls the pistol from the holster.
To kill as many of those fuckers as I can. They're interfering with my prime directive.
Newt runs up to Thora, hugs her, then runs towards the vent. Thora powers up the cat. Newt's almost to the vent when, out of the shadows, the fallen Xeno from the shuttle darts out and snatches her up.
Rebecca!
Newt screams. Thora watches the Xeno scale the wall, mount the roof, then run toward the horde. Pissed beyond words, Thora jumps in, guns the Wildcat, and hauls ass around the colony. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, rooftop. The Xeno drags Newt like a rag doll towards the horde. Wham! Out of nowhere, a puddle jumper blindsides the Xeno, smashing into the side of its head like a 60-mile-per-hour sucker punch. It's Cordell. The Xeno launches from the roof, Newt still in its grasp. They land hard a few feet from the hole in the bulkhead. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, D-block, night. One of the Xenos grabs Newt and drags her towards the Queen. Cordell darts across the sky, 15 feet above the Queen. He hovers above her, baiting her. Oops, Cordell.
Come and get me, you whore!
He lowers the jumper, but stays above Xeno jumping range. Dozens of Xenos scurry to their Queen's side. He urges the jumper a little closer. More and more Xenos pile atop each other to claim him. The Queen tilts her head, then seems to get it. She tries to move away, but the crush of Xenos blocks her way out. Interior, D-block, hallway, night. The last of the Xenos at the hole in the bulkhead leaves. Pricer holds up one hand to stop the guns.
They stopped coming.
Pricer runs to the hole and sees Cordell.
It's Cordell.
What?
Lydecker runs to the hole.
What the hell is he doing?
Exterior, Hadley's Hope, D-block, night. Cordell sees Lydecker, looks down at all of the Xenos beneath him. Cordell activates a seismic charge, puts it in the bag with the others between his legs.
You wear the shoes! I carry the gun! Ah, fuck you!
He pitches the jumper forward and down. Interior, D-block, hallway, night. Lydecker watches as Cordell nosedives towards the mass of Xenos and their Queen.
Cordell!
Exterior, Hadley's Hope, D-block, night. Xenos leap up towards the jumper as it dives to meet them. The Queen manages to bash her way through the writhing mob just before waboom! A Wrath of God explosion tears into alien flesh, vaporizing most in a hellish fireball. Others are ripped to shreds, parts of them flying in every direction. Lydecker steps from the hole. Nothing moves. Lydecker looks back to Pricer, who stands in the hole. He nods and smiles, but it's a false victory. The Queen and several other Xenos recover, irate and hissing. They rush the hole. The Queen sees Newt on the ground, unconscious. She grabs her limp body and heads straight for the processor. Interior, D-block, night. Lydecker and Pricer leap in through the hole, but the Xenos move like lightning. One grabs Pricer by the collar and drags him out, screaming. The scene goes into slow motion. Colonists scream in fear and some with rage. Some stand their ground and unleash a lead hell. Xenos pour in, and two Xenos drag Al out feet first. Lydecker looks up, his eyes pleading to an unseen God.
Forgive us.
More Xenos enter the hallway and grab at colonists. Exterior, Hadley's Hope, night. The Xenos drag the colonists out, kicking and screaming. The Queen, holding Newt, looks back to their victory as the last of the horde exits the hole with Lydecker, fighting with everything he has. She turns back toward the processor and stops mid-stride as a Wildcat skids to a stop, blocking her path. Thora steps out, points her gun at the Queen. Xenos approach, hissing madly.
Put them down or you die.
The Queen hisses at the Xenos and they stop in their tracks. Lydecker stops struggling long enough to watch. The Queen hisses, holds Newt upright out in front of her. Maybe an offering, maybe a human shield. Newt comes to, looks around and screams. The Queen hisses, but Thora smiles.
Let's see how you like it.
Her remaining eye digitizes. In response, Newt's backpack lights up from the inside. The spider medbot tears through the pack and leaps onto the Queen's face. The bot jams its legs into the skin of her face, the human equivalent of a facehugger, Payback. The queen hisses, wails, and spins wildly to get the bot off of her face. She releases Newt to free her claws. Newt lands hard on her stomach, well away from the Xenos. Newt looks up, out of breath, and sees another vent. The queen claws at the bot. Her acid blood finally eats through the spider legs, and she rips it from her face. She wavers, then sees Thora right in front of her. Thora holds up a seismic charge in her hand. In a flash, Thora rams her arm elbow deep into the soft tissue of the queen's chest. The queen howls in pain and sinks her claws into Thora. A second later, the charge goes off. Kablasm! The queen and Thora are blown to smithereens. Lydecker's eyes fill with despair. The remaining Xenos shudder as their queen dies. They chitter to each other, then return to their original plan, collect their dead, and carry their hosts back to the processor. Interior, ventilation, night. Newt scurries through vent after vent. Left turn, right turn. She knows the vent system well. She finds her way back to her subterranean home, a few blankets and mementos of her life at Hadley's Hope. Fade to interior, processor, sublevel 3, night. Cocooned to the walls, the remaining colonists cry, scream, and pray. Lydecker watches as a Xeno places an egg in front of him. Looking across from him on the wall, Anne Jordan, dead. Now, her head lifts and her eyes flutter open. They make eye contact. Then her expression turns to panic. She screams and he knows what's about to happen, but he can't look away. His head is glued in resin. Anne's body spasms and contorts. Then the sound of breaking ribs and tearing flesh, followed by a red rose of blood that blooms on her chest. Blood sprays out onto his face as an alien bursts out of Anne's chest. As it emerges, Lydecker notices this one is different. It has a blunt but defined V-shaped crest, a new queen. It hisses at him as a Xeno approaches and plucks it from the Anne's chest and carries it off into the darkness of the hive. Lydecker cries out, his complete failure to protect the colonists now clear. Then the egg in front of him peels open. He closes his eyes and silences his scream as the hugger leaps out. Fade to black. Over black, the sound of someone taking a deep, slow drag from a cigarette, then exhaling it even more slowly. Fade in. Interior, Ripley's apartment, day. Smoke wafts from a cigarette held loosely by a limp hand. The hand belongs to Ellen Ripley, 30s, who sits silently in her depressing apartment, contemplating the smoke as if it might reveal to her a future she has no stake in. The only sound is the crackling of the cigarette as it slowly burns down to its eventual extinction. The hopeless silence is broken by her doorbell buzzer. Ripley's head snaps up and she looks over at the door. Fade to black. And that's it, folks.